Salute, Nick family. Welcome to Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the NBK Network. Today we are talking about who's the best wing between Grimes and Cam to start next to RJ Barrett, which tandem would be the best in terms of the projected lineup the Knicks are supposed to have, but also against the other teams in the Atlantic Division. So, with no further ado, I am joined by Staffer Dawn, the Bowling
Yes,
Chick.
sir.
I am Jarrell, all resident panelists on this channel. We got maybe what 4 weeks before training camp starts, and then before you know it, that first preseason game, October 4th. We got a lot to get into. This is the team for now. My preference is to go into the season with this team as it currently is. We'll see what the Knicks do if they decide that they want to make some minor changes here and there. I'm not for giving up any assets at this point unless it's for a star or a superstar, unless we're talking about a second round pick or one of the protected picks or something like that. Other than that, I'm not trying to give up any major assets right now. It is what it is. This is where we are. It's a very balanced team. And if a few players step up and they pop and take major leaps, it could be a totally different team. So, how you guys doing? How you feeling today?
I'm
Salute to
blessed.
everybody.
Blessed. It always good to be on Dope Soul Sports.
Yeah, man.
Respect.
We always rocking on Tuesday night. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody.
Yeah,
Ditto
definitely.
what everybody else just said. Good to be here. Thanks for having me, as
Yeah,
always.
definitely. Shout out to the chat: Brooklyn Butch, Pudge Nice, Sanga Waldron, Deron Wayne, King Pappy, NYK, Kareem Grant. Appreciate you, El Matrix. John from Still Nick fans. Appreciate you, brother. Eddie
What up,
C.
John?
Yeah, Jay Singh. I think I got everybody. Nick G, 2K1, Pudge Nice. I think I said Pudge Nice. And this one, I hope I got this right. Giancarlo Gonzalez Del Val or Del Valle. And Canal Band Lawyer. I appreciate all of you rocking with us today. Listen, from here on out, we're going to be talking about the team as it's presently constructed. And tonight, I want to talk about who should start alongside RJ Barrett. If is that Grimes, which I think would move Barrett to the 3, or Cam, which would move Barrett to the 2. Now, all of this depends on Cam still being here, training camp, right? There's been rumors that the Lakers are interested in him. There's just thinking that where is he going to fit? He has to get paid, blah, 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 blah. Will the Knicks move him? But if he's here, let's start with Cam. What do you like about him starting next to RJ? And are you comfortable enough with the shooting with those two in that starting lineup? Jarrell, I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna go to the Bowling Chick to Staffer.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely a Cam fan. You already know that. I would like him to start. That is the main goal for him. He's obviously injury prone, so that's a real problem for me. I don't really like injury prone players, even though I like him. So, if I only can pick between Cam and Grimes, like Evan Fournier still isn't in the conversation. Like we just
We'll talk about him. We'll
okay.
talk about him as well. Is
Okay.
that your first choice, Fournier?
Well, yeah, like to
Both of
me, yeah, to me, much as I like Grimes and Cam, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that either one of them could just beat out Evan Fournier before at the end of training camp when the season starts. So, but I am a Cam fan. I am a Grimes fan. I like both of them. Cam, he obviously isn't I wouldn't say that he's the shooter that Grime is, but he has a better all around game. So in terms of shooting, yeah, it'll be a little lackluster. Like he's definitely not, Larry Bird over there, but Cam can at least shoot in volume. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a 3 level scorer. He can score at every level. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Like for the future, if Cam steps his game up and he stays healthy, I would love for him to be our starting 3 and move RJ to the 2.
Okay. All right. So some concern about the shooting,
Mhm.
but not major concern.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. All right. Okay. The bowling chick. Your thoughts on a Cam and RJ wing tandem? Any concern about the shooting? Keep in mind, we got Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle.
Yeah, you are right.
Neither one of them that shoots very well up to this point in the starting lineup. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. And that's fair to remind everybody of. And RJ's not the best 3-point shooter as well. And Brunson is a solid 3-point shooter. So with that lineup, we wouldn't have a deadly 3-point shooter.
Right.
But if you're going primarily based off stats, Grimes's 3-point shot, even though it looks prettier, I think his percentage wasn't that much higher than Cam's was. I need to look this up to verify, but the last time I recall, I think it was like just a couple of percentage points off, where Reddish had a smaller sample size. That said, for defensive versatility, I want Cam to start. I like that he would be able to take the burden off of RJ defensively. Not that Grimes wouldn't do that, but Grimes is a smaller defender and can only guard, smaller guards. Whereas Reddish can guard 3s, 2s, 4s, maybe not the 4 spot too long. It depends on the matchup. Like I think he can defend Tatum, for example.
Right.
Even though Tatum is taller, he's a little lankier, but it's not that much of a disadvantage for him. So that would just be my preference. And then to Jarrell's point, as far as being a 3-level scorer, you do have that. The guy is, I mean, he sneezes and he gets to the basket. It's so easy to him on that side of the court. I love Grimes. I would like to see him get an opportunity, but if this is pie in the sky what the bowling chick wants, I would want Reddish to start, but he needs to show himself in camp.
Okay. I think what they're having the audio issues is coming back. But it was okay last week. Yeah, it was okay last week, without it. So we shall see. Staffer, we're gonna talk about okay. We're gonna talk about Cam first, and then we'll get into Grimes, and then we'll talk about both of them, and then we'll talk a little bit about Fournier as well.
I like Cam. I think he is a very versatile player. As Jarrell said, he could score from everywhere, outside, inside, drive to the lane. He has a long wingspan. He could play defense. But the only thing I question about Cam is his energy. Do you want to play? Are you willing to go all out? And with the whole Atlanta thing, you being injured and requesting a trade, and I haven't really. Well, I mean, in the playoffs, we've seen him, go off because we know he could score. We see that he has talent, but putting him alongside RJ to be at the 2, I'll have to say no, because RJ can't shoot. I'm sorry, bowling chick. My boy just can't shoot. And shooting guard shoot. So it will be a issue because, as Queen said, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, Bronson has a decent 3-point shot, and Cam has a decent. So you only gonna have 2. You only gonna have 2 threats on the outside. So I like him, but I will rather him probably come off the bench, or if he's traded, you already know who else is up next, and we're gonna discuss him after. But I don't think it will be a. I don't think it will be a good fit. We will have too much shooting woes when it comes to RJ, and Cam will be a good defensive player. You know, there'll be hardly any pick and rolls to switch. He'll definitely help out Bronson in that area, but alongside RJ. RJ to number two, Jarrell. Nah.
Yeah, there are plenty of examples of two guards not being able to be snipers outside, man. It's a lot of two guards that can't shoot like that. Like RJ's an average shooter, he's just not above average.
Right.
Like
We
he can
need
get
him.
by,
We
he can
need
get
it.
by with just
But
being
well,
average.
guess what? He's the highest paid player on the team now. We need to shoot. We need him to shoot above. I don't want to hear no excuses. Done with that. It's over with. He got his money now. No excuses, Jarrell and bowling chick. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
All
He
right,
You
all
don't
has
know
to
right.
what he's gonna
improve
do
his
next year
shooting.
yet.
He has to
You're like
improve
it's
his shooting.
mid-season.
And it has to be above average. I don't want to hear about no below average or average. No.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of y'all, all of you make good points when it comes to Cam because I see it both ways, right? I see that length. I see you got, RJ at, they say he's 6'6". I think RJ's 6'7" now. At
Mm-hmm.
the two, you got Cam at what, 6'8" at the three. The height there would really help us defensively. Both of them can put the ball on the floor. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Cam's skill set is a little more expanded than RJ's right now,
Yeah.
depending on, he may have worked on some things, so it may be very different when he comes back next season. I like that idea. And we'll talk later on in the show about the other Eastern Conference, excuse me, the Atlantic Conference wings. So
Mm-hmm.
having someone 6'7" and 6'8", that really matches up well. But to Stafford's point, I am concerned about the shooting. I'm concerned about the shooting, even with Grimes and Fournier in
Yeah,
the
regardless, yeah.
in the lineup. I just think that between RJ, Julius, and Mitch, they're at their best operating below that 3-point line, in the key. Not that Julius can't hit the three, not that RJ can't hit it, but it just seems so congested in there. And I think Cam can hit the three, but I don't know if he probably shoots it at a respectable clip that they will guard him, and that'll help create space. So I can go either way with the Cam. I would think that our defense will be better, but I think the scoring and in the shooting, it might be a issue. Let's get to Grimes, and then we'll talk more about Grimes and Cam um, more head to head. What do you like about Grimes, and what do you think about his fit with RJ Barrett in that starting lineup? Now with that duo, RJ would have to play the three, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Grimes is 6'4" or maybe 6'5" with shoes.
Right.
All right, let's go the other way. Staffer, Jarrell, and the bowling chick, Grimes and RJ giving up a little height though, gaining a little more shooting. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's a perfect fit
Okay.
because we know what you're gonna get from Grimes. You're gonna get intensity. You're gonna get shooting. You're gonna get well, what we saw in the summer league is hoping that what we will see on the NBA floor, as far as him putting the ball on the floor, him going to the rack, him finishing, him being more efficient on the 3-point line, and we know he's going to be a dog on defense, even though he say 6'4", 6'5". I
Mhm.
still think I still think if they try to switch, he can still guard his man.
Mhm.
and he can still hold his own. And I think once that ball swings out to him, he'll be able to hit the shot at an efficient basis. Once that young man gets more touches, and I feel that he is going to have a good year. Um, and I just feel like people uh kind of underestimated him when he was coming out of Kansas with the whole issue he had and transferring to Houston.
Mhm.
But he showed improve. He came into training camp. He showed the crowd. He showed Tibbs. He showed what he could do, and I think he earned a spot in the rotation. And with Fournier's deficiencies at well play well, I mean, if you look at the statistics, RJ and Fournier had the same defensive rating.
Mhm.
Um, but I do think with both of them tandem together, it will be much better on the defensive end, in my opinion,
Mhm.
and on the defensive end. Because when RJ goes to the basket, he could always kick it out to Grimes, and that would be a good 3-point shot. We could have also Bronson do that too, and Julius, if he's efficient enough
Mm.
and he's on the arc, he could always hit the shot also too. But we need him to step up his game. But Grimes, you know what you're getting in Grimes when you're gonna put him when you either you call his name or you're gonna start him in the starting lineup. So I think it's a match that we need to see.
I mean, what I'll add before I get to Jarrell is, there's the overall shooting percentage for Grimes that dipped after the injury, and there's his catch and shoot numbers. I think his catch and shoot threes are really good. Um, the thing with Grimes is similar to Obi in the sense that they were limited in what they did last year. And how much of that was due to their role in the offense, how much of that was due to their skill set, right? Like people will argue Grimes could have did more, but that wasn't his role on the team. You can also argue Obi could have did more. That wasn't his role on the team. You know, we shall see. I'm not sure if his role will be bigger next year, but given how the Knicks seem to be were hesitant to put him in the Donovan Mitchell trade, seemed to be extremely high on him. And I'm a Grimes fan, seem to be higher on him than most fans. They must see something. They're watching him every day in practice and working out. They definitely must see something that we don't see. Um, Jarrell, your thoughts on a Grimes RJ tandem? Little shorter, better shooting. Some would argue better defense. I think Cam's defense is just a little different. I don't think
Mhm.
it's dogged man to man, type defense, but he's long, he's disruptive, he plays the passing lanes, he has an excellent steal rate, so he is engaged. Your thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, I like Grimes, and even though we do know what he's going to get, that still doesn't mean I would want him to start, even
Mhm.
though I know what he's going to do.
Mhm.
Because I really think that Grimes isn't really better at Cam at one category like that. Not too much. Like when it comes to the defense, like you said, the defense is kind of different. Both of them are good defenders in my eyes. When it comes to offense, I know a lot of people view Grimes as a better shooter, but I'm not really exactly sure if that's the case either. Because
Mhm.
even though Cam didn't shoot well with us, like look how small the sample size was.
Mhm.
Like before he got
Right.
to us, when he was with Atlanta, I think he was almost a 40% 3-point shooter, like at least like 38, I think. that was before he got traded. So when he got traded here, obviously and you mentioned roles, we didn't know what his role was. He didn't even have a role. So if he was asked to do more, have the ball in his hand more, I think you'll be able to see more of Cam's game flourish. But as long as you're just going to have him like come in and maybe play 10 minutes a game, then yeah, you're not going to get the Cam Reddish that you're supposed to be getting. So as much as I like Grimes, and I don't mind the fit, like say if that was the starting lineup, if he does become a starter this year, I wouldn't be upset, but I would rather have Cam just simply because I think he's the better overall player in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like people or players that can put the ball on the floor when they need to. Like when RJ goes to the basket and he kicks it out to Grimes, obviously we know he's going to shoot. I just don't want it just them. He has to shoot that ball instead of just putting it on the floor and creating his own shot. Like I would rather have Cam when it comes to that.
Yeah. But let me ask you though, from what you saw in Summer League and what you know of Grimes, do you think he has an expanded skill set and that was just his role in the offense? Or do you think that with an expanded role like he had in Summer League, he may not do that great?
Yeah, I mean he has it in his bag, don't get me wrong. I don't think that's the only thing he can do is catch and shoot, but just not at the level of Cam Reddish. And I don't even think it's close when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. He might be a better playmaker when it comes to passing, but when in terms of creating his own shot, I don't think he's in the same class as Cam at all. Like regardless of what he did in the Summer League, Cam would have killed the Summer League if he would have played.
I agree.
So like even though we got to see Grimes a lot because he had the ball in his hand, but if they would have gave the same ball and the same minutes to Cam in the Summer League, it would have been a completely different story. Like you would have saw something different than what Grimes did.
Right. But he's 4 years in the league, so I would think he would have out too.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Like it's a reason for that. Like it's not just because of Cam is Cam, it's just that he's been in the league longer.
Right. Okay. The bowling chick.
To your original question, I do still like Grimes. I like his defensive tenacity. Just like everybody else has mentioned, his energy, the fact that he can steal the ball away. I still think his fit next to RJ would still be solid. I just don't think he's as versatile defensively. But there's nothing wrong with that. I do agree that he appears to be a better catch and shoot threat than Cam is. I also do agree that he would be willing to kind of accept his role more so than Cam might. But I don't think Cam's going to be, a ball hog or anything if he were playing the three with the Knicks or anything like that. So those are, like the positives as far as Grimes goes. I also like him next to Brunson.
Right.
So I think that looks good. You have someone, at least like Grimes is 6'4", 6'5", having that next to Brunson. Good. Like we saw in the Summer League, he did show that he has more to his bag than just the catch and shoot. That remains to be seen in the NBA.
I think the audio is an issue again. Is the headphones like still right next to the phone?
I mean, they're off though.
Right, but there still could be some interference just by the proximity of it. Maybe.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Sorry, well, I don't know if you need to like leave, but I'm just saying maybe you need to like just move it a little further away. She about to put it in a box.
Yeah, the audio wasn't that bad.
Like maybe there's just some interference with the phone, just maybe a little further away.
Right. I will take 10 seconds and I will move them away and I will come right back.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking at the chat, man. The chat got something to say tonight.
Yeah. They on that audio, I'll tell you that. Like I told you, they'll deal with a blurry picture, but they not the audio.
So when some start choppy or you fading out or if it's too low, they'll let you know.
Right.
Shout out to Nick G. Shout him out.
Yeah.
I see you. I hear you.
Oh, Nick G. Yeah, I see him.
Salute to Nick.
Joe Long, appreciate you. Stopping stopping by. What do you think is Grimes' ceiling? Oh no, Bowling Chick, you finished before I move to the next question. I didn't know how far you went.
I was trying to get him as far away as possible. I forgot what the last question was.
We were talking about Grimes' fit with RJ Barrett, and you was giving us your thoughts and opinion on that, and him being a better catch and shoot probably than Cam, but overall,
yeah, but overall, I would prefer him on his. I prefer his defensive versatility more, and I prefer his playmaking as well. I just think Cam is an overall better player right now than Grimes is. That's kind of the long and short of it for me.
Yeah.
Ideally, I can't wait to see how training camp works out and we get to actually see it happen. But that's just how I feel personally. I think Cam is just a better overall product right now than Grimes is.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what the future holds. Oh, and I do believe players can actually improve the game as they continue to play.
Say that again. You believe what? Before I get to Staffa?
My bad. I was going to say that I believe that young players can continue to get better as their career goes on.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think what they did last year is the end all be all.
Right.
Just want to make sure I got that across.
Right. But the longer you're in the league, the more you are who you are, though.
True.
Point taken. You just take the words right out my mouth because the boy been in the league for 4 years now. Grimes been coming into his second year, and he has more intangibles and show what he could do more than Cam. Even though y'all say he's a better overall player, but at the same time, if we was to go on a pickup game, I am taking Grimes.
Wow. You picking Grimes in a pickup game?
I am taking him over. And look, I may get roasted for that, but I am taking him just because I think he's a better shooter. He plays tenacious defense, and you know what you're gonna get: energy. Keyword energy from him. You ain't gonna get that lay back if I want to play or not. I'm lazy. I want my money. Nah, bro. You've been in the league 4 years now. The same way how people be roasting Julius, he been in the league for 9 years and he got his money. Well, Cam been there for a long time. And if he does get his opportunity this year, he needs to show it and show what he could do. So the preseason game coming up, Detroit, he needs to start with that. And let's go from there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're gonna see. I turned your mic up, the Bowling Chick, so maybe that'll, because some people were saying you were low.
Yeah, I heard that.
I think you're right about preseason, because these guys have been working all season. So I think we saw a little bit of Grimes in summer league, putting the ball on the floor, handling the ball a little more, playmaking more. Now, will he be allowed to do that in the regular season game, or will he still be regulated to just a catch and shoot guy? That's going to depend on the offense. That's going to depend on how much Tibbs and the coaching staff trust him and how much opportunity he's going to get. With Cam, I don't really see Cam. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to think back to last season. I don't think Cam was just regulated to one thing, right? I think for him, it was just about the minutes, but I didn't get the sense once he got in the game that his role was limited. Did you guys?
I think in the first couple games it was, but yeah, you're right. Then he got the ball in his hand a lot more. But when it first started, I was kind of mad. They just put him in the corner, just like Tibbs do everybody else when they get in the game for a little bit of time, just like he did Deuce a couple times. But his role definitely expanded though. Say that again.
I think that's where you start in his offense. You start in the corner,
right?
And then you move, and then as you get more trust, then you get more opportunities, and they allow you to move around a little more.
Right.
because even RJ was in the corner for a minute.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. What are you? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my. Yeah, I know I'm the most hydrated host.
Oh yeah, I be on mine too all the
You
time.
good, you good, you good. All I'm saying with the whole Cam
Water break.
and Grimes thing is that you know what you're gonna get out of Grimes each and every night. You don't know what you're gonna get from Cam each and every night. So
No, I agree with you. So it comes down to, are you more comfortable in that starting lineup with somebody where their role may be limited, but they're doing it at a high level and you know what you're going to get? Are you more comfortable with that over somebody who has a better skill set, a higher ceiling, but you're not quite sure at this point how consistent he's going to be game?
I'm going with option A all day. I'm going with option A all day. Canal by law might give me tomatoes, but it is what it is. That's my opinion. As I said before, this guy's been in the league for 4 years. Grimes been for 2 years, and he already showed you what he could do. He's hungry. Cam don't even look like he's hungry. He more look like he's starving.
I wonder though, like some players, and I think Cam is one of those players. Durant is another one. They're really smooth with their games, and so because their games are so smooth and effortless, it looks like that they're not working hard.
But Queen, when Kevin Durant came into the league with the Supersonics, he showed his talent right away. It wasn't a lazy. I understand the whole smoothness. I get it. But when Kevin came into with the Sonics, he made his mark. When Cam came in, he didn't make no mark. He got benched.
Right. But
for Kevin Herter. Come on now, people. Be realistic in Atlanta. If he was such this good, great player, why didn't he beat out those guys in Atlanta?
I think it's mostly because of injuries, not because he couldn't play better than them.
Right, availability. But Stafford, the point I was trying to make about him and Kevin Garnett, not necessarily about their games, it's about motor and how it looks on TV. They're not hustling or they're not playing hard because they're really smooth. But the other question is, this is his 3rd year in the league. Remember, he came in the same draft with RJ. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to RJ, we're still looking for him to develop next year and the year before. Is Cam getting that same from the fans? Or are we looking at him as like a finished product? Oh, he's been in the league 3 years. He hasn't really, done anything. Well, he was in the same class with RJ. And we're saying we're hoping RJ takes another step next season. Isn't it the same with Cam? Like hoping he takes another step next season?
Should be.
There they go, but Cam never got a fair chance. That's BS. I'm sorry, Queen. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It is ridiculous.
But he's been injured a lot. Now, I don't have it. I put the graphic up at one point. I was surprised at how injured he was. He was reminding me of Brogdon when I looked at his, so he's been injured a lot. So I think that may have had something to do with it as well. Coaching's just saying, you know what, I need to go with a guy that I know is going to be here game in and game out. Every time I put him in, he's here for 20 games, injured. You know what? Let him come off the bench.
And you want me to start him 82 games at small forward?
I mean,
give me a break,
one thing I
man.
do want to say,
give me a break.
Stafford, what shit? Don't hold back.
I'm sorry.
It seems like you're holding back a little bit.
No,
What's
no, I'm not holding back. No, I'm not holding back.
I was
You know,
being
I'm just seeing it for what it is. I'm just seeing it for what it is. That's all. Your best availability is your ability, right? That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he was never available. He's always injury prone, as you just stated. You put him in for 20 games, he gets injured.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. Then they go and they draft people in your spot. What's the name? What's the name of the other young man that got drafted number 4? What's his name?
DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter. You telling me you couldn't beat out him?
The thing
You
about
telling me you couldn't beat out him?
I think
Yo,
it's
stop
the
it,
injuries.
man. Stop
It's the
it.
injuries again. And
Stop
plus,
it, man.
I can see like having that, you know, that type of idea when it comes to Cam, especially because of injuries. But I don't know. We're going up against Grimes though. Like I'm trying to see what did Grimes show you for the limited time that he had last season. He only been in the league 1 year. It wasn't 2. He's only been in the league 1 year. He was a rookie last year.
right,
And he only played in 46 games last year.
right,
And he only averaged 6 points. So
right.
what did Grimes show you to have you like, yeah, it has to be Grimes. Like I will always pick Grimes. He's the number 1 over Cam.
That's a very good question. And I'll ask that. Yeah, that's a very good question. What has Grimes, and this is for the chat as well. We're talking about Grimes and Cam now, just them.
Yeah.
What Grimes showed for those Grimes fans that feel like he should start over Cam, what has he showed you in 49 games, averaging 6 points? His I think 30-something%, from
Yeah.
what has he showed you in his limited time that makes you believe in him more than Cam? Put it that way.
Yeah, for somebody who played less than 50 games, only scored 6 points and only shot 40% from the field in general, and his free throw percentage isn't how it should be as a shooter. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm a Grimes fan. I like Grimes, but like if we're going Grimes versus Cam, then yeah, I'm still picking Cam. Have to.
Right.
Like Grimes hasn't showed me enough yet.
Right. Well, I'm thinking of it in the context of the entire lineup, but I hear what you're saying. Just straight up. But this is what the chat is saying. Almighty Finesse, appreciate you. Grimes is a better shooter. Almighty Finesse again. Cam doesn't have a motor.
At least me and Almighty Finesse agree on something.
Grimes has energy, shoots the ball, and plays good defense. Come on, Cam people. I'm trying
to say. But I just don't like when people just say Grimes is a better shooter. On what measure are you talking about? The percentage.
What do you mean, Jarrell? Are you serious?
Yes. He's a 68% free throw shooter.
Can Cam catch and shoot? What is the percentage of his catch and shoot to Grimes?
Well, Staf said earlier that even though he is an average 3-point shooter when it comes to dribbling off the catch, he is a better 3-point shooter than he is off the dribble. So yeah, Cam can catch and shoot.
Nah. Yeah, he could catch and shoot, but he ain't better than Grimes. No way, no how.
Yeah,
well,
if I'm putting, I need a 3-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
I am not giving Cam the ball. I am definitely giving Grimes the ball.
They both shoot around the same percentage from 3. Like I don't understand that. I don't get that. I don't see why. That doesn't make sense to me. Like even with the eye test.
So in your opinion, you think Cam is the better shooter?
I think they're a little bit even, and it depends on.
No, you on the fence, bro. Don't give me that. You on the fence.
No.
You just see you a Cam fan.
I'm not on the fence. I'm not on the fence, Staffer.
Yes, you are, bro.
I didn't finish what I was saying.
Okay.
Like you real hyped on this, Cam. I see. But let me finish what I'm saying, bro. Like Cam, it depends on what part of the floor you're talking about too, because Grimes is a below 70% free throw shooter. So if you shoot below 70%, how are you a better shooter than the person that shoots in the high 80s?
The question was 3-point, not free throws.
No,
Now
you
you want to
said
move the goalposts. Now you want to move the goalposts. We talking about
I'm
free.
not moving the goalposts.
We never said
I'm
free
not
throws.
moving the goalposts, Staffer, because
Yes, you
you did not just say 3-point. You said better shooter, period. That's why I said it depends on what part of the floor you are on. If we're talking about mid-range, give me Cam. If we're talking about free throws, give me Cam. If we talk about off the dribble, give me Cam. If you're just going to talk about just catch and shoot, yeah, you can give me Grimes. And even then, they're about even if you actually look at their stats.
Well,
we're gonna have to disagree. Agree on this one.
I'm trying to. I'm looking it up now on cleaning the grass. Cleaning the glass. But see, they don't have. This is shooting accuracy. I'm looking for catch and shoot. They just have how well they shoot from different parts of the floor. But we can do that from the mid range, from the 3-point. Wow. So from the corner three, Grimes is in the 80. He shoots 46%. He's in the 83rd percentile for his position, right? That means only 17% of those in his position shoots better than him from the corner three. The non-corner three, 34%. All threes, 37%.
Okay.
Long mid, 47%. So his long mid range is pretty good as well. At the rim is 64%, which is 51 percentile. I don't think he took a lot there though.
Yeah, I was question sample size on mid-range.
Sure. I'll tell you right now. He took 22 shots at the rim and made 14.
All season?
All season. Because that wasn't his role, Yeah. And the long mid range, 47%, which is 82nd percentile, which is pretty good. But again, small sample size. Long mid range, he took 17 shots, made 8. All mid range shots, he took 21, made 8. Most of it was the threes. He took 180 3-point shots. That was his role.
Right.
Let's which player is this?
Grimes.
Okay. Did you pull up the stat that what's showing pulled up, if you can, right after you finish, Queen? Right after you finish.
Well, I was gonna pull up Cam.
Because I know I ain't bugging.
Okay. Oh, I was like, wow. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Now, again, this is just from where they're shooting at particular areas on the floor. If somebody can look up like catch and shoot. So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is just from when he played for us or like all last year?
Both.
Okay.
For 21-22, they have it broken down between Atlanta and New York.
Right. So they probably got the stats.
They have it. Yeah, they have it split. But so in Atlanta on a corner three, he shot 47%, which was higher than Grimes. The non-corner three, 33%, which is slightly less than Grimes. All 3-pointers, 37%, which I think was slightly higher than Grimes. Now, this is just going by when he was in Atlanta. Once you put in the Knicks stuff, it does go down. Because drastically from three. He shot 22% from three with the Knicks. But his mid-range was good, but a small sample size. All mid-range shots, just 16. Small sample size. Short mid-range, just 11 shots. At the rim, 17 shots. So I think next season is going to tell the story for both of them. Did anybody ever was able to get the catch and shoot?
Mm-mm.
What
Uh,
website do you get that from? Is that
I
I
just
didn't
Yeah, I
see it on
never.
Basketball Reference.
Yeah, you have to just Google
I
catch
just
and shoot stats. Like,
catch and shoot 3% Quentin Grimes. Like that's how I usually. Okay, so for Quentin Grimes, his catch and shoot was 41.2%. That's
that's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's very good. But pull-ups just 25.7,
Mhm.
right?
Makes sense.
So his catch and shoot. So like you said, Drew, I'm gonna pull up Cam Reddish right now. But like you said, if you're looking for a catch and shoot,
Completely different story. Like,
then
if that's all I'm looking for,
then it's
yes, I'm picking Grimes.
right. Cam Reddish, and let's see what Cam Reddish catch and shoot in all 49 games was 39%. So it's not that bad. 38.9. You know, was it like 2 percentage points less? And his pull-ups were just slightly better, 27.5 compared to 25.7. So basically, he's 2 percentage points better than Grimes on pull-ups, and Grimes is 2 percentage points better than him on catch and shoot. So basically, catch and shoot pull-ups, they're kind of
Interchangeable. I get it.
Yeah, they're kind of interchangeable, but from the eye test, Grimes looked like he knocking them down every time.
I think because the form is so pretty and he just waiting for it, like, and the release is quick.
Right.
But yeah, he hit it. I always thought that they pretty much hit it around the same clip. I don't think either one of them is, killing each other. But to me, it's just, since Cam could put it on the floor, depending on where he's at, like, I would rather him have the ball. That's all.
Mhm.
And that's just in terms of offense. Like, we haven't even discussed defense. Like, defense is a completely different story. Like, they're both good defenders in their own way. Like you said earlier, they just defend differently.
Right. And Sherwin brings up a good point. Shout out to Sherwin. And I didn't even think about this. This is why it's important to read the chat. Cam is a player that needs the ball in his hands to be good. And I agree. Like, Grimes is somebody who can play on any team, can play off of, anybody. He'll still be okay.
Mhm.
Cam at his best, I'm not sure Cam is at his best playing off the ball. I think Cam, he can do it. He can do it. But I think he's at his best with the ball in his hand, having the opportunity to create. And this is another reason now when we talk about which one fits better in the starting lineup, right? First, we started with them in a vacuum.
Mhm.
Now we're going to talk about them with Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, and Julius Randle, right? That's the potential starting lineup. In that lineup, this is where I think Cam, as much as I like his height and his defense and what have you, Brunson needs the ball in his hands to be at his best. He can play off the ball. RJ plays better he can play off the ball too, because he did it that second year, right? When we were in the bubble, he played off the ball, played off of Randle. He did okay. Actually, he had his best shooting year playing off the ball. But I think he's better with the ball in his hand. Randle, ball in his hand.
Of course.
Now you're going to add Cam, ball in his hand. So that might be a deciding factor. Like, how many players need the ball in that starting lineup to be effective? Your thoughts on that, or not really an issue?
I mean, it's an issue to me, but I don't know. Like I said earlier, like, I will always choose the person or the player that could create his own shot. Not necessarily, like you said, need the ball, but once he gets the ball, like, I don't know exactly what he's going to do because he can score at all three levels. And since their shooting percentages are kind of similar, to me, I will pick the person that can dribble the ball.
Okay. Cam is restricted, would be restricted. Somebody asked if he's unrestricted or restricted.
Restricted.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's restricted. Anybody else on the fit of having somebody else in that starting lineup who plays better with the ball in his hand?
I do want to just say I agree with the aspect that he's at his best with the ball in his hands. Like, no doubt about it. That's like his ceiling is when he has the ball in his hands. So I do agree there. But I have to completely ditto everything Terrell says. The player that can score on all three levels, that can, I'll just say, like, is versatile on offense, can defy the defense on the other side, where whoever's defending him doesn't know exactly where he's going to go with the ball. That's a big deal. So I just wanted to say I ditto that 100%. I'm still choosing Cam, especially since the numbers ended up being a little more similar than we thought last year. I never would have thought that. So I was glad you pulled those up.
Yeah, I think Stephen Okonkwo, I hope I said that right. Queen, I think Cam with Okongu. It's a woo though.
Okonwo.
Yeah. Queen, I think Cam would thrive in that Brandon Ingram role where he's a secondary playmaker. He can find his buckets better that way. But I just don't think this is the team for that, because I think there's other players ahead of him in the pecking order. I think Brunson is ahead of him. I think RJ is ahead of him. And maybe even Randall, unless Cam just comes out and just balls out in in training camp.
He would need like when the starters come out. Let's say for instance he do start, and like Julius comes out, RJ come out, he will have to be the man. Him and Bronson. Let's say they keep in Bronson. Him and Bronson or Rose come in. Mm-hmm. He will have to be the go-to guy. So if they put him in that position, then we could see the type of player that he is. But for right now, with RJ, Bronson, and Julius, he would just have to play his role, which is probably be in the corner. I mean, fight for some rebounds. I mean, make the hustle plays, and find your niche in the offense. Because I don't think they're going to just give you the ball just like that for you to prove yourself. Unless he goes to a team where they need a player like him and he will be the man, fine. But Cam is just going to have to be a role player on this Knicks team right now.
Yeah, I think the only reason I wouldn't go with Cam in the starting lineup would not be because I don't think he's better than Grimes. I think it would just be that I think Grimes plays better off the ball than Cam. And I think in that lineup, Cam is not going to have a chance with those ball dominant players. I don't think he's going to have a chance. And that second unit, only one he got to fight with is IQ. Everybody else is a willing passer. And not that IQ doesn't pass, but if he sees a shot that he likes, is going up.
Yep.
In that starting lineup, I see him averaging like maybe 10, 12 points. And not just because of that's he can do better than that. Just from the shots that he's gonna get. Any other thoughts on that? I think we have two people for Cam, and I wouldn't be mad if he started though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
That means he balled out in training camp.
Right. I wouldn't be mad at either way. I just think I have a feeling neither one of them is going to start because of the person we haven't talked about yet.
What, 28?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's talk about 28 now. I mean, I said Grimes and Cam in terms of starting next to RJ. But remember, Fournier and RJ started next season. And I guess another question is, has Cam and Grimes showed enough to overtake Fournier in that starting lineup? Now, my bias is I don't want to hear about moving people to create room.
Right. I don't like that either.
I'm talking about that they have played well enough that you believe if given the opportunity, they would outplay Fournier. So let's talk about that. How many people are, on the panel and in the chat as well, feel like if it's a fair shot, that they may not even beat out Fournier? Shout out to John. Appreciate you. Staffer? Oh, and
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead, Staffer.
A fair shot to beat out Fournier.
Do you think they would?
And has Grimes proven?
And Cam beat out.
Well, look, I'm Xing out Cam anyway, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm Xing him out. So with Grimes, I'm definitely putting him in that starting lineup. If you look around the Twitter space, the Knicks space, who do you see in people projected starting five? Grimes. You don't see no Cam. You see Grimes. Okay? And he has proven in his rookie season, he has proven in the games that he played last season. He was was he the Summer League MVP or runner-up? Am I correct? Yes, no?
Runner-up.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Runner-up. I'm not sure.
All Summer League team.
Right. And he showed that he has more to his game. And I said it before, you know what you're going to get from this young man night in and night out. So it's no lapsing on defense. It's no missing rotation. Well, I mean, every player misses a rotation, but him, I know he's going to put his best effort and his best foot every single night for 82 games. So I am rolling with Grimes in that starting lineup all day, every day.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Similar to what Jarrell asked about regarding Grimes and Cam. What has Grimes showed you that makes you believe he's going to be able to contribute more than Fournier? Now, don't get me wrong. Fournier's defense wasn't great, but it wasn't
terrible.
It wasn't trash.
Right.
It wasn't trash either. And you can always cover up one player. Miami does it. Miami, Duncan Robinson was in that starting lineup for a long period of time. They were still top 10, I believe, even top 5 in defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have his experience. Then you have his three-point shooting. What is it, Staffer, that Grimes have shown you in 1 year that would make you believe he's ready now and he would be a better fit or player than Fournier in that starting lineup?
You just mentioned it in your first statement. His defense. Way better defense. He's not going to get bullied. He's not going to get picked on. He's going to always fight over the screens. And he's a tough kid. I'm sorry to say the French guy is soft. Because once he's
You think Fournier is soft?
Soft like cotton tissue.
Wow.
Okay.
A former MMA.
I mean,
I
that's
don't agree with that at all.
Listen. That's my opinion. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. Right? as far as being tough on the court, right? He normally gets picked on, right? If Fournier is not hitting his shot, what is he in the game for? Numerous times the boy ain't hit the shot. He's just there outside dangling like a blowfish. Doing what? Nothing. We know if Grimes is not hitting that shot, he is going to play a maximum 110 defense. And as I said it before, we see in the summer league, he's improved his ball skills. He's improved his skills to the basket, right? And we already know that he's an excellent three-point shooter. So going into training camp, if Grimes don't beat out Fournier, it's probably a money thing and a politic thing.
No.
I said probably. I said probably. I didn't say it was a for sure thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. But let's not act like he has this huge advantage over Fournier. You know, he plays better.
I mean, I ain't seen is not the only huge advantage I would say is the defensive and then the intensity.
Right. Because what about the intangibles? What about the experience? What about the toughness? Like, I see Fournier as being tough. Fournier would fight Randall. Yep. I've seen him on on the French national team. I've seen him with that. Like, there is nothing soft about Fournier. I don't see that. And I think when the Knicks signed him, that was one of the things that I liked about him.
But Queen, you cannot tell me in the 82 games this boy played when he wasn't hitting the shot that the fans wasn't calling for him to get benched.
Yeah, they were, but doesn't mean
okay then. So if he's not hitting the shot, what is he there for?
I think that the leadership, he's somebody that's not going to melt down. Okay, right. He's not hitting his shots, but he's going to stay engaged. He's going to stay on. Just because he's having a bad game doesn't mean he's going to check out and
but
down the stretch. I'm just
how many
saying,
times we played Boston?
What I'm saying is
that this boy,
man,
is the Boston games is the only games that he went stupid. Where was he in other games?
But Grimes didn't even do that. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm for Grimes. I'm okay with Grimes starting. But I'm saying don't underestimate his experience. You can't count on Grimes in the waning moments of a game. When it's crunch time and it's time for a basket, my preference would go to Fournier over Grimes just because of the experience. He's been in those type of situations. He may miss a shot. He's not going to melt, though. Grimes, because he's young. He's only been in the league.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Queen. I'll give you the experience. I'll give you making the final shot, putting the ball in his hand to give a 3-point shot to take the lead. I'll give you that. But otherwise, for the season that we seen last year, when he wasn't hitting the shot, what was he doing?
I think the experience, but let me tell you, the experience was still there. Teams still had to respect him. So he still opened up space, for others. And his defense, okay, he may not be a Grimes level defense. For me, with Fournier, reminds me a little bit of Randall. It's about consistent effort. It's not about whether they can or can't. It's about consistent effort.
Right.
And I think he does have to get better than that because there were times when he did die on the screen. There were some games where he was real feisty. And I'm like, wow, look at Fournier. And then there was other games where
you don't see it.
He was just like Ole, so
right.
So that Matador D.
Craig or Grego, whatever your name is, come up on the panel and debate. You want me off the panel? Come up, you got something to say, come on the panel. Come on the panel.
Right.
You're telling me that I'm worse than Uncle Fulio. Come on the panel and give your opinion.
He said, hold on. He said you was
Y'all be
worse than
talking a
Jack.
lot of stuff in the chat, and y'all never see y'all up here.
Right. Listen,
Um,
I'm a Grimes fan. I'm okay with. I'm just saying I don't think it's a slam dunk. That's all I'm just saying. I think it's closer than we think between Grimes and Fournier, and you can argue with Fournier's experience to give him the edge. I know Stafford, you say give the defense the edge, but you got two players. One is a better shooter, right? Is his defense that much worse than Grimes to take that shooting out the lineup?
Right. Like recently, for some reason, not just what like Stafford's been saying. Like I'm not even talking about Stafford right now. Just in general, when it comes to the fans, you would think that Quentin Grimes made like all team defense last year. He did not. He didn't even play that much last year. When he did get playing time before he got hurt, like he Tibbs did give him a lot of minutes, but he only showed up in like less than 50 games last year.
Okay, you was gonna say something.
Yeah. We could kind of change the subject to the aspect of what will Tibbs actually do? I mean, the true answer is I think Fournier is going to start, whether we as the fans want him to or not. But I mean, we did hear in that report recently. The truth of these reports we don't know, but we did hear in a report that Tibbs was willing to scale down Fournier's minutes in order to get more playing time for Grimes and or Reddish. Probably Grimes though. So that's good news, but to me that still indicates that Fournier's going to get those starter minutes just based on Tibbs' comfortability with him. He trusts him. Does he trust Grimes the same amount? I mean, he trusted him to close games. So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, what we as fans need to be happy about or excited about is the kid's going to at least close games out, or that Tibbs is going to give him those minutes. And those are the minutes that are the most important. So as far as those last 5 stops that we need, Grimes will be out there to do that, provided he's healthy. So I wanted to say that. But not just in case, but I do think Tibbs would be more so willing to do it this year than any other year as far as starting Grimes. So I could still see it happening, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. I think they start the season with Fournier starting. And then maybe after a month or something like that, maybe it flips, depending on what our record looks like. And one other thing I wanted to say really, really fast.
Yeah.
If we're looking at stats, Grimes' stats are actually comparable to Fournier's. The only difference is Fournier shot the ball a heck of a lot more because he had a heck of a lot more minutes than him. Yeah. But looking at the stats was pretty interesting to see. His field goal percentage was 41.7%, and by his I mean Fournier's. And his 3-point percentage was 38.9.
That's because he shot mostly threes.
Yes, but as opposed to Grimes' 3-point percentage ended at 38.1. So very similar there. Obviously, we all know the sample size is different. We all know the toughness of the difficulty of the shots he was taking are different there too. So I consider all those things, but just to say, yeah, the percentage is actually similar. So maybe Grimes can get us like production to what Fournier did. I think he only averaged 14 points a game as well. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
No. You're on point. The only thing I would say to that is the more shots you take, the more that's your true percentage. Like he's taking 8 3-pointers a game and able to shoot 39%. It's very different than somebody taking 2 or 3. And then when Grimes was getting those type of shots in summer league, 7, 8, 9 3-pointers a game, he was very inefficient in summer league. So I think if you're talking about a subscribed role of catch and shoot, I'm comfortable with Grimes, right?
Mhm.
But if you're talking about a high volume 3-point shooter, unless something changes between summer league and now, I'm not high on Grimes with high volume shots. Now I shouldn't say high volume shot, because high volume threes, if they're finding him and they're all catch and shoot, I think he's going to be okay. But in summer league, they were asking him to put the ball on the floor. They was asking him to create. They were asking him to do a lot of different things, and his efficiency went way down. So if they, Staf, if they're just asking him to stay in that corner and catch and shoot and play good defense, I'm okay with that.
And this is Fournier we talking about?
Grimes.
Okay. No, well, that's going to be, if that's his role, that's his role. Because as he got 3 dominant ball players that's on the team, so I have no problem with that.
Let me get to a couple of questions and comments. Somebody asked earlier about super chats. In order to be eligible for super chat, you have to be monetized and you have to have 1,000 subscribers. Right now, I have 770 subscribers, so I'm almost there. If you're in the chat,
subscribe.
If you're in the chat and you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Now, if you want to support the channel anyway, the Dope Soul Sports Talk Cash App information is in the description, so you can support that way as well. And then I'm thinking about doing a Patreon. I'll see.
We gotta get you a QR code thing you can put on the screen like Eru got, man.
I got the QR code. I just have to figure out how to put it on the screen. I got it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just got to figure out.
That's what's up.
To put it on the screen. Bayside Junior, I love this comment and this point. To me, it depends on Brunson. How good is he on defense? That should dictate if we start Grimes or Fournier. Because when you're looking at it, who starts, sometimes it's not the best player. Sometimes who fits best on offense, who fits best on defense, right? Mm-hmm. There's many a times when you think about Manu Ginobili in San Antonio, he could have easily started, right? He went to the Hall of Fame, but maybe they felt he was a better fit coming off the bench than in the starting lineup. So when you got Brunson, who do you want starting besides Brunson? Beside Brunson, do you want Grimes starting beside him, or Fournier, or RJ? Right? If you're going to put Cam at the 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Like I've always said that I wanted RJ to go back to the 2, but either or, I'm fine with. I don't really think it's a foregone conclusion that Grimes is going to overtake that starting position over Fournier at all. I actually think Fournier is going to start. He's going to continue to start just like Tibbs did last year. I don't think that is going to change. The minutes might change, but I don't think Fournier is going to come off the bench. Especially not with I don't want to put money into it because I hate putting politics into it, but we all know that it is a factor. Him being paid what he is paid, like, I don't want to say he has to start, but with his skill set, and he's pretty much quote unquote earned it. Yeah, I don't think Grimes should start over him just because he's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be some politics in there. Mm-hmm.
No, but I still don't think that he can outplay
early night.
But what I will say is, in terms of politics, Tibbs is high on Grimes as well.
He is.
He likes both Fournier and he likes Grimes. And it is probably Tibbs was probably like, don't trade Grimes. Don't put him in the trade. Don't put him in, So in this particular case, we were talking about Fournier and Cam or Grimes and Cam. Okay. Mm-hmm. But Fournier and Grimes, I think Tibbs likes both of them.
He does. I think so too. One thing I wanted to say, one thing the Bowling Chick said. Mm-hmm. One point I would like to make when it comes to closing. None of the people that we're talking about today is going to be on the floor when we close. I don't think. None of them.
Really?
Who do you think is going to be on the floor? Who's your closing team? Everybody give their closing team.
Right. Depending on the lineup, our closing backcourt, depending on if Rose is healthy, is going to be Brunson and IQ. So I would be thinking Brunson. That's exactly what Tibbs have done in the last 2 seasons. If you was paying attention to our closers, like a lot of times IQ was in there, not
That's true.
Fournier, especially last year.
Rose
Fournier did
too.
not.
Miami
Rose
game.
too.
That's what I say. Like if Rose is healthy, that might change
Right,
some
right,
things.
right,
But
right.
but if Rose just be situational, like I think he's going to be, then yeah, IQ is going to be our closer. Like at what position, it really doesn't matter. It'll probably be the two, and Brunson play the one, RJ, Julius Randle,
Three.
and hopefully
Mitch.
Hartenstein. No, not Mitch. Not closing because he can't shoot.
Oh my God.
And his free throw shooting.
Yeah, it's terrible. So
Yeah.
and plus,
Yeah.
you talk about Grimes. Grimes is a below 70% free throw shooter.
I hope Mitch proves you wrong this year, though. I really hope so. I hope he.
I hope he shoot I hope he shoot above 50% from the free throw line.
Because
Like,
this is, I think we was having a discussion the other night. If this Hartenstein kid is I think what they said, the top 3 rim protector in the league for the past 3 years, why would the Clippers give him up?
Table that. We're gonna. I got one more question, and then we're gonna get to.
No, but Queen,
to that.
I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Oh, okay. So all right.
So shout out to the chat. I love y'all. It's all entertainment purposes. It's nothing personal.
Correct.
Okay, nothing personal. I love the Queen. There's never a disrespect to the Queen at all.
No.
Never that.
I talk over people too. You get excited. You get excited.
Never that.
Whoa.
Never that. Because when we come off this live, we be talking for hours, and there's never a disrespect. So shout out to the bowling chick. Shout out to Jarrell. Craig, it's all love. Canal Balor is all love. The chat is all love. I'll see y'all next week, Monday. Peace, love. Y'all be good.
Appreciate
you too, Staffa. Have a good night.
Yeah. Hard-working man right there. He got a.
Yes, sir.
Today was a rough one.
And he definitely right too. Like we talk like more off camera than we do on the camera for the most part.
We do.
We be going. We'll get off at 11, 12 or whatever, and we might go to 2 o'clock in the morning after the show.
Talk about.
I got some questions to ask y'all after the show.
Yeah,
I'm sure you do.
It's true. I have another question, but I want to answer Julian Blum. Staf, who you taking to start your squad, Grimes or Fournier? This is very close for me. Very close.
You said start your squad, like you're starting your team and you got to pick one, or just to start your squad.
I thought he meant to start on this team next season, Grimes or Fournier.
I ain't picking neither one of them.
Right. If I'm starting a squad, I don't think that's what he meant. But
I'm just going by how it read, to be honest. Like, but if I might be wrong though.
Yeah, Julian Blum, if you're still here, clarify for us. But for next season, I'm gonna go with Grimes for fit, not because I think he's better than Fournier. I just like a Brunson Grimes backcourt over a Brunson Fournier backcourt. Yeah,
I don't know. I keep on. I don't know. In terms of defense, I keep on. Well, see, I don't want to say this because it's weird, because Brunson started with a backcourt with Luka last year.
Yeah.
So when it comes to defense, a lot of people keep talking about defense, and Luka can't cover anybody. Like he's a terrible defender. Might be one of the worst defenders in the league compared to how good he is offense. So yeah, I guess it just depends on how you see the game. I don't have a problem with Fournier starting. Maybe because of that. Maybe because I've seen Dallas have a good defensive team with that starting backcourt. But I could be wrong though. I wouldn't be upset either way.
Okay. All right. Let me ask this question before we get out of here. Which combo, and let's throw Fournier. So Fournier, Grimes, Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of those with RJ. which combo matches up best with the other wings in the Atlantic Division? So
That's a good
now,
question.
yeah, I went through the depth chart, ESPN's depth chart now, and different, different outlets have different depth charts. I went with ESPN's depth chart. With Boston, they have Brown and Tatum playing the 2 and 3. And we know Tatum sometimes plays the 4.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Philly, they had Harden and PJ Tucker, 2 and 3. Toronto, they had Gary Trent and OG Anunoby, but I think sometimes Scotty Barnes plays the 3 as well.
Yep.
And Brooklyn, they had Joe Harris and Durant. They had Simmons at the 4.
That makes sense.
Right. So when we look at the Atlantic Division, Boston, Philly, Toronto, Brooklyn, RJ and who matches up best with them?
I mean, in terms of talent, and we're not putting injuries into account, it would have to be.
Let me answer this question real quick.
Okay.
J-Tap, appreciate you for rocking with me and rocking with us tonight. No disrespect, Queen, but didn't you say fit don't really matter? You take the talent over the fit. If it's a number 1 star player,
Right, depending on the talent, yeah.
Fit don't matter. I'm not sitting here. If we got a chance to bring in Brandon Ingram, we have an opportunity to bring in Donovan Mitchell, Zion. I'm not sitting here saying I'm not bringing them in because they don't fit.
Right.
They the main player. So you bring them in and you build the team around them. But on a team like this where you don't have those type of players, fit will matter in a starting lineup.
Right.
So Brunson is in that lineup. RJ is in that lineup. Randall is in that lineup, and Mitch is in that lineup, unless there's some trades. So at that 2 position, now I'm saying out of Cam, out of Fournier, out of Grimes, which ones fit with that lineup, right? So even though Cam is the most talented, I don't think he's the best fit because it's just not enough balls to go around. But I wouldn't be mad at it. We can definitely make it work. But I think he's talking about what I was saying on Knicks and Bruises. A star. You bringing in a star player. I'm not sitting here talking about how he fits with this roster. So I hope I clarified that.
If it makes sense, I don't mean to cut you off, Steph. Like, I'm old. So, like, don't get me wrong. When Michael Jordan got drafted, I was too young to know he got drafted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in hindsight, for them to pick Sam Bowie because Clyde Drexler was there made absolutely no sense because you should have drafted Michael Jordan.
Right.
You don't not draft Michael Jordan because of the fit, just because Clyde Drexler is there already.
Right. Who else did that? Detroit did that with
exactly.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Yep. They had Tayshaun Prince, so they didn't draft Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
Because of Tayshaun Prince, like, come on, man. Like, you don't do that.
Right. Right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. So, we're not doing like we're gonna switch it up for Boston. We're gonna start these 2 for Boston. These 2. Nah. This is it. Boston, Brown and Tatum, Philly, Harden and PJ Tucker, Toronto, Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, sometimes Siakam, Brooklyn, Joe Harris, Durant. Which of those 3 players, which one are you starting alongside RJ Barrett?
See, like, to me, if we're not talking about injuries, if we're not putting injuries to account, I will always go with the most talented players because the people that you named are all uber talented except for maybe PJ Tucker. And he is one of the best defenders in the league, especially at his size. So, like, when it comes to talent, then I don't even put him in that category. It's kind of like Marcus Smart or Tony Allen from back in the day, Patrick Beverly. Like, you just know who is good at basketball when it comes to defending. So, yeah, when it comes to talent, I don't put him in that category. But, yeah, I'm starting Cam because the way you question it make it seem like I'm questioning in my mind, like, who would be good at 2-on-2. We just talk about wings, and that's it. I don't want RJ and Grimes to go against Tatum and Brown. No way. I have to pick Cam if we're just going to go by, not going by fit, like you said earlier. If we're just going to go by what 2 can fit against Durant and Joe Thomas?
Joe Harris.
Joe Harris, I'm sorry. Joe Harris or Tatum and Brown or OG and Barnes or Siakam. All those wings, you have to get somebody that's like 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan to play defense and actually try to score on those guys, not Grimes.
Right. But the issue for me is the three. Who's playing the three? Because when you look at the two, if you put an RJ at the two, RJ is guarding. I think Grimes is a better defensive player than RJ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you if you're gonna start Cam at the 3, that means RJ is guarding Brown, Harden, Gary Trent, and Joe Harris. That's a tough.
See, but the thing is, they got.
I like that better than Fournier.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that better than.
That's kind of how I look at it.
They got to guard him too, though. So, in order, like I understand that, but Brown would be the only advantage on the other end. Like RJ could score on anybody that you named, except for him and Brown will probably go back and forth. But I can see him scoring on Harden.
Mm-hmm.
I can see him scoring on who's in Toronto again?
Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent Jr. He can't guard RJ at all. I don't see that. Joe Harris, I don't see RJ getting checked by Joe Harris. Nope. So yeah, like when it comes to that, yeah, Brown. But Brown and Tatum is giving everybody fit, so it's hard to even. Yeah. Like they're one of the best tandems in the league.
Right. But for Grimes, for Cam, though, you just leaning toward him because of his height. Because who's the better defender at the 3 for Tatum, PJ Tucker, OG Anunoby, or Durant? You think Cam would be a better defender over RJ, and that's just because he's longer?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, both of them will probably be kind of equal, to be honest. I think they'll be like average to above average defenders. I don't think that either one of them will be bad on defense, but I don't think either one of them is going to like stop anybody either.
Right.
Not consistently.
Right. See, I think Grimes can guard. When I say can guard, we talk about
things difficult, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody down. But I think Grimes could stay in front of or work hard for a Brown, a Harden, a Gary Trent, or Joe Harris. Like, I don't think, I mean, he's in my opinion, he's our best on-ball defender.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would do okay. The question then, if you do that, now you got RJ Barrett on Tatum, PJ Tucker, OG Anunoby, and Kevin Durant.
Right. Yeah. I like that matchup, except for KD, obviously, and maybe and Tatum. Like those two, but those two will score on anybody. So, like I can't. Yeah, no matter who you start at the 3, they can get cooked by those two players.
Tatum and Durant.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you have a point though.
But with Fournier, I don't. Brown, Harden, Gary Trent, Joe Harris. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see him playing. Yeah, I don't see him stopping any of them.
Right. It would be between. Now they have to guard him too, so that means they have to, run around and they have to guard him too. They can't sleep because he put up 7, almost 8 3-pointers a game.
Right. See, that's the thing about Tibbs too. If I'm not Tibbs, obviously, but if it was me, I would actually have Evan Fournier moving around a lot more than he did last year. He did not move as much.
More. Like I feel like Evan could do more. I don't think he's just a catch and shoot guy. I think when he came to New York, that was the most 3-pointers he took in a season.
Yep.
It was.
And he basically had to find a space for himself on the team. And basically he became a catch and shoot guy. Right. But when you saw him in Orlando, he would put the ball on the floor. He would handle the ball some. He was much more well-rounded.
Right. That's why I think a lot of people that don't like Fournier, I don't really think they really watched him play throughout his career, just with us. And with us, with Tibbs' offense, I don't think nobody had a good year last year in Tibbs' offense.
Right.
And in Tibbs' offense, he broke the 3-point record.
Right.
So if he actually was moving around a lot more, or if he had the ball in his hand, or they even ran him off screens more, like I think it would be a completely different story with Evan Fournier.
Yeah. No, no doubt about it. That's why our wings, I think we really got to focus on. And I didn't even go to the rest of the Eastern Conference in terms of what those wing matchups are. Cleveland, you're probably talking about Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert, or Darius
Okoro.
Donovan Mitchell and Okoro. One of those. Then who else is in the Eastern Conference that's up there?
Gotta look.
Milwaukee. Milwaukee talking about
yeah.
Milton, and I'm not sure who they have going at the 2. So whoever is starting next to RJ, I think defense has to be at the 4. And if it's Cam, he has to be on defensive fire. If he's gonna play, And sometimes you do take that better defensive player, even if he's not the best shooter. And like we said when we went through the numbers, it's not like he's a slouch. They're pretty even up to to this point.
Even the some of the teams that we didn't mention the Heat at all.
We didn't mention the Heat, which would be maybe
Probably
Butler and Hero, or if they start him, or Duncan Robinson in Hero, if they go back. I mean Duncan Robinson and Butler.
Yeah, Butler. And then we got a young team like the Pistons. Like if they're gonna throw Jaden Ivey and Sadiq Bey at you, they both can get you buckets.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
The Hawks.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh,
yeah.
the Hawks.
With
we didn't talk about the Hawks at all.
We didn't talk about the Hawks at all. We basically talking about Well, they traded Herter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he went to Sacramento.
So
who's their starting 3 then? Is it Bogdanovich at this point?
Right.
Would it be Bogdanovich
and Bogdanovich? Because I think they're gonna have Murray playing the 1.
I thought he was gonna play the 2.
No, but I think he's gonna play the 1 to have the ball handling responsibility, so Trae Young can be free to shoot. But because Murray is not a shooter, you could play him at the 2. I mean, I think they're going to be interchangeable. Well, Murray's a slasher. He's not a 3-point shooter at all.
That's true.
That being said, he's a good playmaker, but Trae Young is a better playmaker.
Yeah.
Right. But that's interesting though.
Yeah, no matter where Trae Young attacks, even if it's off the wing, he's gonna still be able to play make that.
Yeah, Trae Young is Trae Young. It doesn't matter where he plays at. He's still gonna be himself.
Yeah. So I don't know if Staf is still listening. Let's do this last question before we get
we forgot the Bulls.
Oh, and we forgot the Bulls.
And they might have the best one. They might, like, when you talk about Levine and DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
They're going to be a problem. That's a problem.
And they cooked my boy. DeMar DeRozan cooked RJ last year.
Yeah. That footwork is elite.
Yeah.
So whoever starts at that 2, whoever starts with RJ, I think we're going to have to put a premium on defense.
Well, that's his specialty, right?
Premium on the shooting and the spacing. But now that I look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, I might want to put a premium on the defense.
Right.
Yeah, especially since like last year we had I forgot dude's name already. The point guard. Well, he wasn't a point guard, but he played the 1 for half the season. Well, basically like damn near 82 games. Burks, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had him. Coach had him in there for defense, right? Isn't that what he was saying?
Right.
So if that was his logic at that time, then that would lead me to believe that maybe defense will be a premium at the 2 or 3, whether that's Cam or whether that's Grimes. That might be more on his mind this year because of I won't say Brunson's not a good defender. He's just an adequate defender, solid at best.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that we can consider as well, if that's what his strategy was last year.
Yeah. All right, let's get this last question in that came up not related to the top. Anything else on Cam, Fournier, Grimes, how they match up with others in the Atlantic Division, Eastern Conference? Anything you wanted to say you didn't get a chance to say?
No, I think we're good. I'm good.
Good. Okay. All right. This last question that's not related to the topic, but it came up, and I just wanted to push it to the end. And that was Jarrell bringing up who would close for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting, and I agree with him, is when he got to center, he said Hartenstein would close.
Mm-hmm.
And Staffer got all riled up. I hope you're still listening, Staffer.
Of course he did.
But I kind of agree with that because I think he's going to give us the defense that Mitch would give us, the shot block, the rim protection.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to, and he could stretch the defense because I know it was only 30 of them that he got last season, but Mitch didn't shoot one.
Right.
But more
important,
he's a threat. But so that creates space. But more importantly, from the free throw line,
right,
you can't close the game shooting 0.08%. Like you just can't close the game, shooting that low. I think Mitch got in the 40s.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't close like that. Now he's been working on his free throw shooting. Maybe he's better, and if he's better, he may close. Right. Who's your closing lineup? The bowling chick, and I'll ask the chat as well before we get out of here. Bayside Jr., you're right. Hartenstein is a great passer as well.
He is.
He's not just somebody who's you have to set up, but he can create as well. I agree that I still.
And he has touch around the basket, period.
Yep.
Right.
Now, this is a very good question. Jarrell, you surprised me with IQ being in there. I just didn't think that would happen, but it makes total sense considering he did that last year. The other question that I would have to ask before I can give this lineup is whether Derrick Rose is going to play. Obviously, none of us are soothsayers and know that for a fact, but if Derrick's in there, then I would say Derrick is going to start at the 2 with Brunson at the 1 and closing. Yes, and closing. RJ at the 3, and then Randall at the 4, unless things hit the fan with him. And then I agree with Hartenstein at the 5. If Derrick Rose is off the team, I want to say I don't mind being different here. I'm gonna say Grimes is still. I think Grimes will be at the 2. Brunson at the 1. RJ obviously at the 3. Randall at the 4 and Hartenstein at the 5.
Yeah, say that again because I think I agree with you. Sorry, I'm a little.
Yeah, easy. No problem. Hartenstein at the 5, Randall at the 4, RJ at the 3, Grimes at the 2, and Brunson at the 1.
To close. Wow.
To close.
Okay. I think I would go with Brunson and Rose if Rose is healthy.
Right.
RJ, Randall, and Hartenstein. And as much as I like IQ's ability, we always talk about his ability to shoot, but he shot 39% for the season. So we always acting like IQ is a knockdown shooter. He's a willing shooter, and he's willing to take the big shots. But I think when you're trying to close, you need the level-headed people out on the court. Brunson can get his own shot. Rose can get all of them can get their own shot. And Hartenstein, if you swing it out to him, you ain't got to worry about him swinging it back. He can actually shoot it. And if he gets fouled, he can go to the line. So those I would close with them. Now, it depends. I would say that's my closing lineup. But if Rose is not having a good game and Grimes is, maybe I close with Grimes that game. If Obi is having a great game and Randall is not having a great game, maybe I'll close with Obi. The only thing with closing with Obi is he can't create a shot, but if he spots up and they hit him, he could pull. He could pull for the 3. And what was your team again, Jarrell?
Brunson, IQ, RJ, Randall, and Hartenstein. I put IQ in there because, like I said before, I always think that I'm going into the season thinking that Rose is going to be situational.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be the backup point guard. I think IQ is going to play more minutes than him. That's the only reason. But if he was actually playing and getting major minutes, like say if he was the main backup point guard, then yeah, it would be Brunson and Rose. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Harry Cox, I would be very surprised to see D Rose, IQ, Grimes, Sims, and Hartenstein, and to not have RJ or Randall on the fly would be.
Forget those two.
Sims over Obi.
I was about to say forget those two for a second. To not have Brunson on the floor to
Oh,
be like he's our starting point guard, and it's almost like the reason that he even came here in the first place, because we needed a closer at the point. That was one of the main reasons, and not just to play the point throughout the game, but who like Alec Burks played those like closing minutes, like we couldn't do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this Knicks team, we put up the roster last night on Queen's Court. That second unit, potential second unit, and I'm going again by ESPN's depth chart. Now, ESPN depth chart did not have Rose in the second unit, but it was so balanced with IQ, Grimes, Cam, Obi, Hartenstein. Like that second unit
five, yeah,
right there. You know,
right. That's why I think Rose is going to be situational. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they don't need him, but I think at this point, like if IQ can't have more minutes now, like I don't know what to say at this point. It seems like he's getting, better each year. Like it's time for him to play more minutes. And plus, if he's going to back up Brunson, it's not going to be that many minutes to play anyway.
Right.
Not at the backup point.
That's how I see. We talked about this before. That's how I see that one position with Brunson, the 3 position with RJ, and the 4 position with Randall. As much as the fans may be down on Randall, I don't think Tibbs is.
Right.
And I don't see any of those guys. I would be shocked if they played less than 34 minutes a game.
Right.
I would be shocked. I see a timeshare at the center between Mitch and Hartenstein. I see at the 2 with Grimes and Fournier.
Mm-hmm.
If Fournier is still here, I don't see a timeshare with Grimes and Cam. Excuse me, with RJ and Cam.
No.
RJ is a workhorse.
Yeah,
and get all the minutes out
loves him, and he has Tibbs' trust. So I don't see a timeshare like a 28 to 20 minutes. Like I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I don't see it with Brunson as well. And this is why I'm saying, as stacked as our second team is, how many minutes are we getting? If you're playing IQ behind Brunson, you think Brunson is playing 30 minutes?
Right. No way. He has to play more than that. Has to.
How many minutes does that leave for IQ? If Brunson plays even 32 minutes, that's 14 minutes.
Yeah, I'm thinking he'll play 34, 35.
Right. And if not IQ, if Fournier starts, everybody wants Grimes to start, but the first guard to come off the bench is going to be IQ, not Grimes. At least not, I don't think. So regardless if he's going to play the backup 1 or the 2, I don't think Grimes is going to pass IQ in terms of minutes and Tibbs' trust, because he trusts him just as much as he trusts Grimes. Like he trusted him first.
Yeah.
He's been trusting him ever since he got in the league. I don't know why, but he's been trusting him since he was a rookie in this league. Like I have no idea why, but he has trusted him since he's gotten to the league.
Yeah, and so you're right. Both of them play the 2, really. Yep. So you're right. If you want to get IQ more minutes, you play him. He backs up both Brunson and Fournier.
Yep.
Correct.
that's going to get him that'll get him more minutes, because now you're talking about 96 minutes for 3 players. They're going to at least get 30, something minutes. But the way the Knicks was handling Grimes as far as this trade, if these reports are true, I think they're for him, right?
That is true. That is true.
I couldn't believe it.
I don't know why that is either.
I couldn't believe it. They must see something that we are yet to see. Put it that way.
Right.
Jerry West blessed him.
Man, Jerry West like 100 years old though. Like,
he knows
I don't want to, no disrespect to Jerry West, man, but like once you in your mid 80s, I think he's in, like realistically. Mm-hmm. Like to say that he's going to be better than RJ, I just don't see it. I don't agree with him. Not saying that Grimes won't be a good player, but at this point in time to say that he has a higher ceiling than RJ, I just don't see that. I don't see it at all.
I don't really like them coming out of high school is what I'm thinking.
And out of college too.
That'll be anything.
Award too. He got the Jerry West something award.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Grimes coming out of high school too. He was one of the best players in the nation when he was in high school. He still didn't have a higher ceiling than RJ at that point either. Like RJ, even when he was in high school, he was the best player in the nation. Like he was ranked number 1. It wasn't Zion. It wasn't Cam. It was RJ, the one who was ranked number 1.
Right. Grimes was in that high school class though. He was ranked 8, I believe. Right.
He was top 10.
Yeah, but he was in that class as well.
Yep.
We got, with a lot of our players, we got the presidents of certain hives, right? The bowling chick is the president of the RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish hive.
Right.
Let me introduce the president of the Cam Reddish hive. Trav B. Ryan, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. He was in the MBK chat.
Salute to Trav, yo. Salute to Trav.
Basically saying the same thing. If you guys remember at the draft party during the basketball game when Sim was playing Big Bubba Isaiah and Tony Crowe was playing Eru, it was me and Trav B. Ryan who was doing the commentary.
Right.
That was him. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
why is that so hard to believe? Better shooter, better defense, better passing.
Who's he talking about? I wasn't paying attention to the chat.
Why is it so hard to believe that Grimes has a higher ceiling than RJ? Better shooting, better defense, better passing.
Is he a better passer?
Well, I don't know. RJ doesn't pass. I don't know if he can't, but he just doesn't.
I think RJ used to. I think he just. I don't know. This past last season,
he had to get to 20. He had to get to 20.
Right. It was like he had a straight, tunnel vision when it came to them points. But at first, when he first came into the league, and throughout his younger years, he could pass. He just. Yeah, you're right. He decided not to last year.
Yeah, I think he can. But listen, I think this season right here, and I agree with Staffer. Bowling chick, all of the presidents of all of the hives, whatever. By the end of this season right here, we're gonna know. We may not know where they're gonna end up, but we're gonna have a better sense of their trajectory after this season. After this season, a rheology president, vice president, also of the Cam Hive as well.
You're a big Cam fan.
Ray be on Cam heavy.
We'll get a chance to see Grimes. I'm expecting Grimes to take a huge leap, given how the Knicks were treating him.
Right.
Expecting him to start and average like 18 points a game, the way the Knicks were treating him in these Donovan trade talks.
For somebody that played less than 50 games and shot how he shot the ball, not saying it was bad, it was kind of on par and average. Right, and average 6 points. That is a lot to put on that young man's plate. like the way people talking about him now. Like all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
like I want to because I remember when he got drafted, because I'm in tune with the draft a lot, right? Like, and I always like Grimes. I when we picked Grimes, I was happy.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Deuce that year. Like I like both of them and
Mm-hmm.
Sims, but I did not hear any of this when Grimes first got here.
Mm-hmm.
But for
Right.
me to hear it now after like 40 plus games and only averages 6 points, like it's almost astounding. Like I haven't seen this, like the hive build so fast within the off season.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Like not saying it's not warranted, but if you're a fan of Grimes, that's cool. But I like him too, but not to the extent that everybody else is talking about him now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost overwhelming. Like for him to just be better than RJ at this, better than RJ at that. He's going to overtake Fournier's minutes. He's the reason we're going to trade Fournier. Like I didn't see none of that last year.
Yeah.
Any of it. And I like him.
Yeah. 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 I think he do got a little better handle though. But
That
listen.
ain't saying much.
Yeah.
It's not saying much. I get that.
That's just RJ's handle is just not pretty. It's an ugly little handle, but it gets into the
It
basket.
gets him where he got a little hoopty handle, but it gets you where you need to go, right?
Exactly. It gets us from A to B.
Good on gas mileage.
Yeah, they got a whole 99 Honda Civic,
It'll get you there.
Oh God. He got a little hoopty handle. Listen, but I think at the end of the season, we're gonna know more about Grimes. We're gonna know more about Cam. We're gonna know more about RJ. We're gonna know more about who else? IQ.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna know a lot. Like to me, this is, and I don't care if it's your second year or fourth year. To me, this season we're gonna know.
I'm excited.
Again, I don't think we're gonna know what you're gonna be at the end of your career, but we're gonna have a better sense of who you are.
Right.
After the season. If IQ is still chucking them up and making bad decisions, all right. I don't want to hear he's still growing. He'll make better decisions in year 5. Nope. I don't want to hear that.
5, yeah. Right.
Right. If Obi is still dunking and he hasn't developed a 3-point shot and all he's doing is running in transition, I don't want to hear that he's not getting a chance to show what he can do. I don't want to hear it. We're not even a full court team, and he's able to show what he can do in transition. We're a half court team, but he can't show what he can do in half court. Like, I don't want to hear it. Same thing with RJ. If he shoots another 40% season, I don't want to hear, he's still young, the bowling chick. In year 5, he's going to break out and be a 47% shooter. I don't want to hear it.
There's no more excuses, man. Like, we got to win games now with this.
And the same thing for Cam.
I'm with it.
Right.
Cam. No more excuses. This is show and tell season right here coming up.
Especially after we did not get Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
Oh yeah, y'all got a ball. We didn't get Donovan Mitchell.
So I agree. I definitely agree for all those players. But I'm excited to actually get the opportunity to watch the kids do this. So we'll see what happens. RJ got the bag, the little bag, as we referred to it, Quentin. He got his little bag, so now we see what he's going to do with it.
Grimes has a better upside than RJ. See, since when though? Like, I don't like. When did that happen?
I think that
they liked what they saw in
this season. Will tell. Like, from that 49 games, I'm not ready to say that.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened.
Now, if he blows up this year, and he's dribbling the ball, and he's playmaking, and he's putting the ball on the floor, and he averaged 17 points a game, I might be ready to say that.
Yeah, that's different.
Now, I'm not ready to say that.
Yeah, that's different. I can see if I saw it. I just haven't seen it yet, so I can't just say that he has a higher ceiling than RJ. That doesn't make sense to me right now. I have to see something.
Yeah, Staffer, no excuses.
Yeah, I saw.
Yo, how Staffer's still in the chat? Salute to Staffer Don, yo.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good point. What is that? Wild Boy Trey? This
Right.
this this is a good point because this is the question I do ask, and somebody brought this up on Queen's Court last night, and I wonder if it was regarding Grimes. What's the skill set? Like a lot of times we'll look at it, oh, this play is good. But a fundamental question is, what is that player's skill set?
Right. And when it said more tools in his toolbox, I think it depends on the tools.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can have more tools, but if your tools aren't as good as mine tools,
If they're not sharp.
I don't care how many tools you have.
You got dull tools.
Right. If my hammer hit harder than your wrench can wrench and screwdriver can screw, it doesn't matter what your tools are. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Grimes. I feel like I'm crapping on him for all this time. It's just how people are talking about him. But it's good though. Like I'm glad people like Grimes because, to my understanding, when he got drafted, I was one of the few people, like personally, like not in the, like MBK, like I was one of the few people that actually liked the pickup. Most people didn't even like the Grimes pick when we picked him. They didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Staffer said, especially Hartenstein, Jarrell, no
No
excuse.
excuses. Well, I mean, he wouldn't have any excuses. Nobody saw him play last year or in his career period when he was with the Clippers and who else was he was with? The Rockets, I think. Like,
Yes.
Mhm.
right. Like, nobody really paid attention to him. I think he'll just be a good fit for our team for what we need. That's all. I don't think Hartenstein going to be some all-star or anything. I think he's going to be a solid pickup, though.
Oh, I think so. But this is where Staffer cut.
Word.
No, afterwards, we were talking after Queen's Court yesterday. I said, don't be surprised if Hartenstein blows up and he's shooting efficient and he's blocking shots and his limited whatever time he gets and he's shooting free throws. Don't be surprised if we move off of Mitch at some point. And Stafford almost had a heart attack.
You talk about as a player or as fans? Because I need like 2 games to move off of Mitch.
Well, yeah, the fans will be right away to move off him. I'd be shocked. If
like in terms of the Knicks, it'll take longer for the Knicks. But for me,
season?
I don't think it would be this season. I would say, but the next season, don't be surprised if he can do what Mitch can do,
and cheaper
throws, stretch the defense with threes.
Yeah,
he's blocked. You know,
that contract is very movable.
Yeah. So we shall see.
I like Hartenstein, man. Hartenstein got game, man. I like him.
Yeah.
Having a passer like that as well with the team, able to stretch the floor, good for Randall, good for RJ. Yeah.
Right.
I
see a touch in the basket, around the basket, I mean. Not even counting like free throws. I'm not talking about like shooting 3-pointers. He has a touch around the basket that Mitch just doesn't have. Like he can actually shoot a little jump hook. He can shoot a floater in the lane at 7 feet tall. Like I've seen him do that.
He's only making $7 million. You trade Mitch,
right?
And that free that now you got less tax bill, and you sign him to you sign him to a contract.
Right.
I wonder what teams would be interested. I know Detroit was before, but now they got their guy with Duran. So,
right.
Where do you think he would end up being traded to?
I actually think a lot of teams could be interested. I think it just depends on how your team is built. Like, I'm not saying that Mitch isn't good for anybody. He should be out of the league. It's just that, like, how he fits for his team, the way his game is. Since he doesn't have any offensive game, for him not to be a all defense level defender yet, until he gets on that team, he doesn't really have that much value to us if he doesn't do anything on the offensive end. Like, you got to have at least a little bit if you're not going to be an all league defender.
Right.
But for another team, like for a better team, say like we was talking about trading Mitch to the Warriors at one point. He would be perfect for the Warriors because they have shooters and a team that will actually match his skill set. With us not winning games and just having a young team that can't shoot, no. That doesn't he doesn't match us. Like, he fits our timeline because of his age, but his skill set doesn't match the other players on our roster.
I mean, can you argue though that We got so many scorers on the team already that we just need Mitch to focus on defense. Can you make that argument?
Because no way, nope, nope. Because even though I still need you to have some type of touch around the basket, unless we have, like I said, we don't have Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson over there. Like we don't have the best shooters in the league, or not even close.
Oh, yeah.
So we need somebody that can score at least a little bit at the center position. I'm not saying he has to be, he doesn't even have to be Hartenstein, because Hartenstein, when it comes to scoring and stuff like that, like his intangibles, like he can do a lot of things. Mitch can only have to do half of that, and he has way more value already just by him having a little jump hook in the lane. I'm not even asking him to shoot threes and pass the ball like Hartenstein yet.
Right.
You just have to be able to do something other than offensive, stand there and just have offensive rebounds.
Right. We shall. J Tap said no queen, so I think he's agreeing with you. Just yeah, okay, all right.
Somebody said,
His touch is shooting 70. How much touch? Listen,
no, that's not what touch means.
They're all dunks.
Bam, bam, right underneath the rim, with
Yeah.
no touch. If you just dunking,
Like
right. Yeah, that's not touch. Like him, like catching alley oops or him dunking. That's why he's at 70-something% on the floor, because he doesn't shoot. So ungrateful.
Mitch got a hive too now.
Yes, he does. Salute to Mitch at his hive, man. That's what's up.
We just want to win. That's all, everybody. We support all the players.
I mean, this is a balanced team, but it is a flawed team. It's flawed, and part of it is we don't really know what we're gonna get game in and game out.
Yeah.
Probably from Brunson, but then again, this is a new team for him. And he's operating with not as much space as he operated in Dallas. So can we expect the same thing from him statistically? So
Right.
there's so many question marks on everybody on this team, I think, except for Grimes, now in terms of shooting and defense. There's a question mark about, can he be more than that? Can he put the ball on the floor? So when you look at there's question marks, maybe except for Mitch. You kind of get
nothing. Like we know we're not going to get anything from him, so that makes sense.
Oh,
wow, Staf. Take a look at Staf's comment.
Say, you don't like that the kid mentioned word.
I love it.
But
yeah, man.
4 teams in and 4. Listen, if Mitch didn't have, I was about to say Mitch could have been on 4 teams in 4 years.
I'm about to say he definitely could have.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of the draft. Like he was picked in the second round for a reason. Like Mitch skipped a year coming out of high school. Like I know all these backstories just because I focus on the draft heavy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Mitch was like a McDonald's All-American as well. Mm-hmm. Because he can run, jump. He looks exactly the same as he did when he was in high school.
Dang.
He has not learned a single thing on the offensive side of the basket since high school. He looks exactly the same.
Right.
Like he was a McDonald's All-American. He's always been tall, athletic, and can play defense. So I'm not saying Mitch can't do that. I'm just saying he has to do that at an elite level if you're not going to give me anything on offense.
Right. He is an elite offensive rebounder, ally-wise. Nick Yak, NBA record shooting percentage, which 8. I don't want to 8.5 points, 8.5 rebounds with 2.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't think Mitchell Robinson blocked 2.8 shots this
in
season.
25 minutes. Nah.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, and like I said before, yes, you can shoot high percentage if all you do is just put back dunks and alley-oops. Like those are all of his points.
Right. That's like putting trash in the garbage can. Like
Right.
why you listen?
Those are all of his points. Like it's 100% of his points. I'm not talking about like that's just some of his points, and he had like a little mid range or a little hook around the basket or anything like that. He has none of that. It's strictly putbacks right under the basket and alley oops. That is it.
Yeah, he it was 1.8 blocks.
Oh, 1.8. Yeah.
It might have been a typo.
Yeah, it probably was a typo. He is an elite offensive rebounder. Elite.
If you just standing there right under the basket waiting for it, then yeah.
But there's some people though who like his knack for getting his hands on missed shots and convert because to be an elite offensive rebounder, we're not even talking about the conversion rate.
Right.
You got to actually get it. You know, so I'm not gonna take anything. He's elite in that area, but he has never averaged 10 points. He's never averaged 10 rebounds.
Imagine that, being elite at one side of the floor on rebounds and not having 10 rebounds.
Right. He averages about 4.5. Excuse me. Is this Mitch? I just want to make sure. So total rebounds was 8.6. 4.1 was offensive. 4.5 was defensive.
Right.
So he's an elite offensive rebounder at the expense of defensive rebounds.
Right. I honestly, I wish it was the other way around. If we're going to talk about somebody being elite at something, like being an elite offensive rebounder ain't cutting it for me. It's just not. Not if you're not elite at anything else.
But what about the scoring that gives us? You know, we not a good shooting team. At least he give us another shot at the back.
That is true. I can't not argue with that. Yeah, we need as many chances as we get. Like when you put it in that way, yes, you're absolutely correct. I refuse to argue with that because we do need all the chances that we can get. You're right.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'll say about Mitch. The games that he's really a defensive stopper, if that was his norm, I would be happy. I've seen games where he's had, I don't know, 12 points, 16 rebounds, 2 blocks, very disruptive on the defensive end. I'm like, okay, if this is how you're going to play?
Exactly.
If you're not an offensive player, but you're wrecking havoc on the defensive end and you're giving a second chance spot, I'm good.
Right.
Problem is that's not his norm.
Right.
That's the issue I'm having with Mitch. That consistency from game to game is not there. If he does that, like to me, that's the next step for Mitchell Robinson. I know people want him to develop his offense. I just want him to be more consistent in being a defensive disruptor. That we can count on that. When you look at Boston, what's this guy named Williams?
Yeah, Time Lord.
Now, I don't watch him every single game, but every game I watch Boston, he seems to be all over the place.
Yep.
He impacts the defensive end like no one else. Or like very few. I'll say that.
He's all over the place. So if Mitch can be that disruptive all over the place, offensive rebounder, putting the ball back, and he's not scoring in other ways, I'm happy because of what he's bringing us on the defensive end.
Right. Like like I said before, if he was elite at defense and was more consistent, we would have stopped the show probably a half an hour ago. We wouldn't have been talking about Mitch at all. Nobody would have a problem with Mitch if he was, I don't know, like take Rudy Gobert, for example, right? Rudy Gobert doesn't give you anything on the offensive end.
Right.
But he's elite on the defensive end. And he makes the defensive team every year because of it. Mm-hmm. So that's why he is regarded as not one of the best centers in the league, obviously because of offense, but defensively, he's one of the best defensive centers in the league. That's why he got traded for 5 first-round picks this offseason. Not because, they actually think that he's going to have an offensive game with Minnesota. He's going to be elite at defense in Minnesota. And until Mitch is elite at defense and elite at the things that he do here, then yes, he has to contribute on the offensive end. Because if not, then we can get somebody else to play good defense.
Yeah, I know Staf hurting. Staf walking around in circles in his kitchen. Hate
Right.
that.
I could get some centers to play good defense. I just can't find anybody to play elite defense. Like we need somebody who could do that if they're not going to do anything on the offensive end.
Yeah.
I did compare the stats just for Robert Williams versus Mitch Robinson.
Mhm.
I mean, now Robert Williams averaged 10 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists,
Ain't that something?
and 2 blocks. And he played 29.6 minutes a game.
That's what I'm saying. Ain't
So-
that something?
And
Now Mitch
and
can give me that.
Right.
So look, Mitch was playing 25.7 minutes a game. So if he gets some of his foul trouble that he's had here and there, not every game, we all know. Sometimes Mitch is, lasted longer. But if he plays 5 more minutes, he can give us 10 and 10. You could extrapolate those minutes. The only other problem is his damn free throw percentage. It's much worse than Robert Williams. Robert Williams was shooting 72% from the free throw line, as opposed to Mitch's 48.6. That's a problem.
So what you're saying is Mitch is not better than Robert Williams.
And listen, the second year, the bubble year, he only played 29 games though, but he played 28 minutes. He averaged those same 8 points.
You have a point.
8 points and 8 rebounds.
Yeah.
We'll see. Mitch got to take the next step. That's what I'm saying. When we could talk about where the Knicks are going to finish in the Eastern Conference, and it's a strong Eastern Conference, but there's so many players that can take the next step. And if they do, it changes everything.
Right.
It changes everything. If Mitch becomes that defensive monster, game in and game out, blocking shots all over the place, the Knicks are a different team, and he's a better defensive rebounder. The Knicks are a different team. If Randall rebounds, he doesn't even have to go back to all second team NBA Randall.
Right.
If Randall rebounds a little, we're a different team. If RJ takes the next step, we're a different team. If Cam takes the next step, if Grimes take the next step, if Obi or so it's a lot of question marks,
Yeah, you got like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
Right. The only question mark I don't have is Brunson, and he's the one that's new to the team.
Right.
So that's a question mark just in itself, not him per se.
I agree with you,
but
Kevon.
The situation. Someone on the team this year would take a next step, like they would have to by law of averages. I would hope so. That's the whole point of having
to take the next step. We got about 15 of them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We have a young team, and like we talk about this all the time. It has to be more than one of them too.
Yeah,
at least we hope.
That's what Trav B. Ryan. He changed his picture that fast. Trav B. Ryan just said, "I think it's going to be more than one person taking." Next step. Yeah,
I would hope so, because if it's only one person, then we have a problem. We have too many young players on the team for it to just be one of them.
Right. Yeah,
I think the players we discussed today, minus Fournier, not to say that he can't take a step, but I think he's at the point where this is what he is. I think Grimes and RJ and Cam, between those 3, they're going to take a step. It's just a matter of how big is this step? Is it a leap, or is it just a half step? We'll see. We got a lot of youth.
And I don't even need them to be elite. Just be better than you were.
Right.
I need some type of stair steps to happen. It doesn't have to jump all the way up there, but I need to see at least some type of progression. Have to. Like, we're too young not to. In that case, we have a huge problem, and the way we rate our young guys, we have to change if they don't take a step. Like, it has to be more than just one. It has to be more than just RJ. Like, we need a step from Obi, IQ. Grimes is coming into his second year, but Obi and IQ, this is their third. So if we don't see a step from them, then we have a problem. They have a problem too, because they're about to get paid.
Yeah, but I have a problem with Grimes too. Well, this is more with the front office. The Knicks was hesitant to put him in trades, so he better blow up. You hesitant to put him in a trade, so that means you seeing something.
Right.
We better see it too. Not 4 years from now either, or 3 years from now.
Yep. IQ has to definitely make a jump.
This year.
That's right. And I actually think IQ is going to make a jump because I think he's one of the players. I guess maybe because we see it more. Where IQ, he shows everything. Like he's all the times that he been balling all summer, right? And
Right.
but in terms of like RJ and Cam, they don't really show much. Especially Cam. Cam never showed like his workout videos and stuff like that.
Nah.
Oh,
At least
okay.
not to my knowledge.
Right.
So you'll never know until you actually like the season starts. But in terms of IQ, he shows everything. He's a social media darling out here.
Yeah.
Every time you see, like every other day, he balling somewhere and he shows it. So maybe that's why a lot of people have more faith in IQ just because they see the work that he's putting in. They don't see like RJ putting in work. Like here, I think RJ showed like maybe one or two workout videos all summer. He don't usually show workout videos of his game,
Yeah,
which
his
is
trainer
understandable.
occasionally has been
Right.
showing
And
him.
exactly. And which I'm fine with. But I'm just saying maybe that's why,
Yeah.
people act that way.
And to your point, for those who, I hate to say like the Grimes hive and all of that, but Grimes has shown a bunch of videos over this summer. And I think that
Right.
might be endearing a lot of Knicks fans to him, or endearing him to Knicks fans, whatever. But yeah, I mean, he showed a bunch and you always see him putting in that work.
Especially like show him with Penny Hardaway.
Yep.
Like he did that on purpose. Like, yeah, I'm working with a legend out here. Which makes sense.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do. But
I
yeah.
mean, let's see, because you may get the muscle memory in a gym or what have you, but now you got to do it
In the game.
in a game with a change in landscape, with with defenders and game plans and what have you, and you still have to be proficient. So let's see if all the work that Grimes is doing is gonna pay off in an actual game, and not just Grimes. Everybody is doing.
So salute to Ron. Ron said Grimes is the only player that showed a video of his defensive footwear.
Yeah.
That's going
I remember
overboard.
that
So
video.
Grimes wants you to know he been putting in work. If
He's
you
letting you
putting
know.
out right, you putting out
He said, "This
defensive
why they
footwear
hate trade."
videos.
Right. He's letting you know that he's not losing focus on what got him his opportunity. He's gonna be shooting and doing more things, but he's still working on his defense. And Staffer has a question for you, Jarrell.
Of course, where's Cam videos? And the crazy part is, like I said, right? Cam will usually put out his videos, but then the one video I saw, I hated. Like I hated that video. Him just jogging up the court like that, looking like he was playing at the Y. I did not like that. I will give Stafford that point. I did not like that at all.
Rheology always got a song he's singing, and I love it.
Appreciate
I
you.
love his tweets or comments.
Woo. Yeah, it is the off season. I appreciate you, Jeffrey Clafter. I hope I said that right. You're right. It was the off season. If it wasn't for these Donovan Mitchell trade talks, I'm not even sure we would have made it.
Right.
Made it to the off season. I was trying to get the exact date of training camp. The exact date is not out yet, but it's the end of September.
Okay.
And unless they put it out today, I know I checked yesterday.
I didn't see it.
And
I didn't see it.
Our first game is preseason game is October 4th, and our first game of the season is October 19th versus Memphis at Memphis, and the first home game is, I believe, the 21st versus Detroit. Okay, and those that rock with nothing but Knicks, I'll be at the that home opener. I know if you go to Nothing But Knicks website, there's a package. If you want to get tickets, we're gonna have we're gonna do a live podcast actually prior to the game. Then we'll go to the game. Then we'll go back to where we had the pregame, and then we'll have the postgame. I think we've done that. We did that last year. Super fun. So if you guys can't make it to the game, maybe you want to just come. I'm not sure where it's going to be. Is it still going to be at Legends? Are we going to go somewhere else? I'm not sure. But you can come for the pregame. If you don't have tickets to the game, you can just have a viewing party and just watch the game there at Legends, and then we'll be back for the post game. So I hope y'all join us. Still, Knick fans is in the building as well. Right. No, I mean, Mitch can improve. It's just that I've seen minimal improvement in Mitch over the years.
Right.
And everybody points to he don't foul people. All right. I like the first year he fouled a lot. The second year he did.
Right.
And that's what people talk about.
Right.
Where has the improvement in Mitch's game been from year 1 to year 4, other than he doesn't foul a lot?
Right. Because I actually think anybody can improve. No matter, even if you're an older player, can improve on his stuff too. But until we see the improvement, I can't bank on them improving. If that makes sense. Like, I haven't seen it in 4 years. Like, he looks exactly the same as when he did when he came out of high school. On that side of the court, I mean, on offense. So until I see something, I'm not going to say he's going to change. Like, I have to see at least a little something. Give me a little jump hook. That's it. I'm straight.
I've given up on
Now,
all offensive improvement for Mitch. I just need him to be a defensive demon, more consistent. I've seen it. I just need to see it more consistently, and I don't even care what you do on the offensive end now. This free throw shooting, first year 60%. Second, going down like a decent contract.
Yep.
The second 50.8%, the third year 49%, and then this year 48 point. Like, no.
So when you say that he can improve,
you gotta get better on the other way.
Right. I'm not saying that he can improve. I'm saying he hasn't shown anything that he will.
Right.
That's all. Like, anybody can improve, but you have to, like, where's the faith in him improving? What have you seen from Mitch that he's done better on that side of the court? It's actually gotten worse.
It has. I think there was a few Knicks fans that called him out on Twitter, saying, "Where is your offensive bag?" or something like that. Well, we want to jump hook, something like that. And he did actually comment back to that Knicks fan and said, "We're working on it." And I think he posted a video, if I recall correctly. This was about 2-3 weeks ago. That's the one video we've seen him doing that. But I think we should at least acknowledge that he says he's working on that.
I think this is a bit overstated, Sherwin, but I will put it up.
What is that?
At I Am Jarrell, so you watch Mitch on the court. He is the most game-changing player on the floor for the Knicks. That's a bit. That's a bit strong.
Like, I always,
right.
Even though me and Sherman sometimes disagree, I do respect his opinion. Like, you could tell he watched basketball. I don't see that though. No way is he's the most game-changing player on the floor. How? What does he change?
It's getting a little hot in here.
I'm just saying he doesn't change. Like, even on he stopped even changing stuff on defense for the most part. Like, he doesn't even do that consistently.
This is what I will say, Sherwin. He's had games defensively where he was lights out.
Yep. All over the place.
All over the place. So now I'm saying to myself, if we can get that Mitch, most of the you're gonna have bad games. Most of the time,
shut up. You wouldn't hear nothing from me.
I don't really care about his offense. My issue with Mitch is that he'll have those games, and then he'll have a pedestrian game. They'll have 2 of those games in a row. Then he'll have 2 more pedestrian games. It's too up and down. That's my issue with Mitch. What I'm hoping this year, get the offense. Just be a defensive demon, game in and game out. You could do that, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Because not one time did I say Mitch wasn't a good defender. I'm saying he's just not elite at what he does yet. I actually think he can get elite when it comes to his defense. He's just not there yet. But in terms of the offense, though, because we're focusing on that part of the floor, at least I am. Steph said she already gave up.
I gave up on that part, but I need you to make up for that by being a demon on the defense.
Exactly. More consistent. That's all. Just be an elite defender, and I wouldn't care about offense at all.
Yeah. So he has the potential to do that, Sherwin. I just don't see it game in and game out.
Right.
He changes defense. He forces others to become jump shooters. I mean, I see it. I'm not gonna argue with that. I see it. I just don't see it enough.
Right. I can't disagree with that. Yeah, you're right. He does do that. You just have to do it on a more consistent basis. That's all.
Yeah, and you got to get more than 8 rebounds. Like, what's the problem? And you're getting help because you're getting 4 offensive.
Right.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like almost like 6 offensive, wasn't it?
No. It's 4.
Oh, okay.
So
it's 4 and 4.
Last season it was 4.5. 4.5. No, excuse me. 4.1 offensive and 4.5 defensive.
Okay.
Yeah. Half and half.
Yeah, we need that defensive up. We need to get that defense up then. Defensive rebounds, I mean.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be half and half.
Rebound. He is an elite offensive rebounder. And I'm not arguing that, and I appreciate that. We need it. Nah. He can be.
Yes,
yeah.
He is more consistent. Game in, game out. Game in, game out.
Right. That's the difference between them. Because neither one of them can score.
Right. Christopher McNair is not a believer. He's a game changer until he runs into Embiid, Drummond, Capella, Allen, and Williams in the Eastern Conference.
Look at that.
You forgot Jokic.
Hold on, though. Look at the names.
Oh my God.
Look at the names he put up there. None of them score except for Embiid. Yeah. None of them are offensive centers except for Embiid.
Can you imagine if Mitch was Allen, Jared Allen? Oh my God.
We wouldn't be talking about Mitch this long. And he would have got more than what he got in terms of his contract too, if he was Jared Allen.
Sherwin, I agree with you. I'm not gonna say I agree with you. I hear you. And Andy made a point similar to this. There was times when Mitch was right under the basket multiple times for a defensive rebound. He doesn't even box out. Nope. It's like when he gets on the defensive side, he don't even know how to grab it. A rebound that's right there. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna watch Mitch this game to see why he's not getting defensive rebounds.
Right.
He's boxing out. He's not, and a lot of teams don't box out. To me, I don't understand why he doesn't have that knack on the defensive end that he does on the offensive end in terms of I don't think it's that. And I've watched games, and as a matter of fact, one of the things I want to do leading up to the season is I want to watch about 10 games from last season, just to get a sense of how they played, so I can get a sense of how much.
10 random ones? Are you picking?
Random. If anybody have any suggestions, 10 random.
Yeah, but for like Mitch, elite rebounder when it comes to offense, I don't know. Just imagine being called an elite offensive rebounder, but you're not a good rebounder in general. Mm-hmm. Like they have to go hand in hand. It's hard for me to say that somebody's elite, even though he is a very, very good offensive rebounder, obviously. But you can't just be a elite offensive rebounder, but not a good rebounder. If you're an elite offensive rebounder, you should definitely have double-digit rebounds. You would have to, just by law of averages. You shouldn't just be like an elite offensive rebounder, but when it comes to defense, I don't know. You
got a head start. Right. You got 4 already on the
Exactly. So like if you getting
he's playing with Randall too, who's a strong rebounder.
That's true. But he ain't Dennis Rodman over there. Like if Randall get 10, you should be able to get 10 also. Yeah. Like it's not like Randall is, he over there averaging 15 like he Tim Duncan or something. Like he gets his double digits, but Mitch should be able to do that as well. Hogging the rebound.
Yeah, Randall be hogging the rebounds. Randall ain't getting no break.
Of course not. It's Randall.
Yeah. Anyway, Sherwin, he's not all right. We're gonna see next season. We're gonna see next. You can't grab defensive when you're guarding people at the 3-point line. Okay. All right.
Staf.
Staf, I thought you was tired.
Right.
Okay.
Right. You still be in the chat, but you supposed to be in the bed or something. Like you said, you was leaving.
All right,
So
we out of here. I'm gonna get this for you.
Yeah, I don't know what his rebounding is. To be honest, I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
But before I even look it up, just because I know what he can do in other areas, that I don't expect him to be that dominant rebounder. And plus, he wasn't a starter, so
yeah. Last season, he had 5 rebounds in 18 minutes.
Wow. And Mitch was averaging 8. So Mitch averaged 3 more rebounds than him, Staffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he doesn't. And he never started last year. Came off the bench, and Mitch only averages 8 more rebounds than him. So if that's the case, then yeah, all my points still stands. All of them. Like it's not a single one I'm taking back. No. Especially if he's shooting under 50% from the free throw line. We gotta come on, man. Like,
yeah, he shot 68.9. This is Hartenstein last season. You know, well, for a center, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
I would like to see it even better than that. His first year in the league, he shot 78.6. But how many games? Just 28 games. So, and only you know, Staf only 1.1 blocks compared to Mitchell's 1.8. So,
hey, yo, salute to Ala Wise. He said Mitch averaged 8.8. And you're right. I do average up. So you're right. He averaged 9. I ain't gonna take that away from Mitch. I do round. I'm not gonna lie. So give Mitch 9. I'm not gonna lie. I give that to Mitch. I round up for everybody. So I got to round up for Mitch too.
So 9 and 9.
Yeah, 9 and 9.
Okay.
I respect that.
You know what? I hope you're right, Nick Yak. I mean,
he's a top 10 center stat wise, and even better. Okay.
All right. I mean, yeah, we shall see. Mitchell Robinson didn't play 23 minutes last year. Mitchell Robinson played 25.7 minutes per game.
Right.
But listen, the center position is going to be one of our strongest positions. If Rose is healthy, the point guard position is going to be strong. Because to me, it's perfect. Brunson plays 36 minutes, 35 minutes, only 13 minutes is left for Rose. That's about all he can handle anyway.
If that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're going to break down if he played that throughout the whole season.
Wow.
Like, I don't have faith in Derrick Rose lasting this season. Not if he's playing like big minutes now. You got to keep his minutes down.
You know, I don't know. When you look at the videos, it's like he's out there working, you know? It's just that when he gets back to the team.
Right. You never know. Like, I'm not going to lie. It all depends on Mitch. Like, this is the first time he really got paid, so we don't know. He could come out next year and be a monster, or he could come out next year and be the same old Mitch. That just remains to be seen. So, but until I see it, he the same old Mitch. But if he comes out next year and shut me up, I'm all good. Like, I'm fine. I would rather be wrong when it comes to any of these players if I don't like them. Or if I don't like something about their game, I should say. Because I don't dislike Mitch.
Is that true? Oh, that's game started. I thought it said gameplay. So Mitch played, let me see, that's 3, 4, 164 games over the past 3 seasons,
Yeah,
which is basically 2 seasons in 3, right?
right.
Because 82 and 82 is 164.
Right. Part of
And
the reason.
and he's played that. He's played 160, 164. Well, some games were in 82, right? The lockout season was just, excuse me, the what do you call it? The COVID, the bubble
The
season.
bubble season. Yeah.
But yeah, it was only 72 total game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I just hope Mitch stays healthy, stay off the floor, because he always on the ground, and just just be better at the stuff that he already does. That's the only thing I could really hope.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
Oh, one quick thing again about Mitch.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
You
just
getting
real
all
quick.
these Mitch takes off.
I'm just
All
glad.
of them.
I'm glad. Remember, he came in all bulked up last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he found out that wasn't the right choice. I'm glad he lost all that weight and then he actually started running more. I actually like that. Some players, I like the fact that Mitch adjusted mid-season or in the beginning of the season and got himself right.
Right.
Like, I do respect that from Mitch. I do
Right.
like that. That means you are working.
Right.
So regardless of what I say, like, I do know he does work on some stuff, and running is one of them. It just might not be anything else. But I do know Mitch runs because he
Right.
lost all that weight really, really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he wanted to gain the weight to get stronger, but for some players they can do that and it doesn't impact their game that much. For Mitch, it did, and I don't know if it was that by itself or if it was that and the injury together.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't know. We already talked about him being inconsistent, but if you're heavier and inconsistent, then yeah, I think the lighter he is, the probably better that he'll play.
Yeah.
Not the heavier, like.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for Mitch. If you become that defensive demon, Mitch, I'm on record as saying I don't care if you take not one shot the rest of your career. If you're a defensive demon, I'm happy.
Right. If he become all defensive, regardless of what team it is, third team,
Right.
I'm straight. I'm good. He does, like Steph said, he does not need to do anything on offense.
Right.
But until then,
if you're not going to be a defensive demon, then you better diversify it.
Do something. You have to do something, even if it's not even if it's not touch around the basket, like to shoot below 50% from the free throw line. And I'm supposed to close with you in games and use my starting center? No, we can't do that. Like you gotta step that up. Have to.
I mean, if he starts making those free throws, I mean, that gives us probably 10, 11 points.
It changes everything.
I mean, exactly. He doesn't need a 3-point shot. He just needs a shot, whether it's a jump hook or to make those free throws. So we'll see. Hopefully, since he's coming into the season healthy, we'll see more from him. He couldn't say that last year.
Right.
He didn't get cleared until like October of last year, like right before camp, right? Or it was really late. If I recall correctly.
Right. I think you're right.
He was all rookie, second team. Wow.
Mm-hmm. His rookie year, yeah. Because his defense.
So we know he has it in him.
Well, no, that doesn't really mean that I will have to see the rest of the rookies that he was going to.
That's true.
That don't mean anything.
And he has a contract as well. That's really easy to move.
Right.
17, then 15, then 14, then 12.9.
Yep. Oh. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's a movable contract. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, like we were saying, if he becomes that demon we was talking about, it turns from being a very movable contract to a very, very affordable one.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Like if he becomes that all defensive player, then that's a steal. I would love that more than having to move him.
Right.
To be honest,
Right.
I would rather have an all defensive player getting paid like $15 million.
Mm.
We pay Derrick Rose like $15 million.
Yeah, we do.
So, like in terms of money, that should tell you about like, what the team expects from you.
Right. No doubt. Appreciate you, Amani the Great, Minneapolis. We about to get out here.
Yeah.
As well. I'll be back Wednesday tomorrow. Actually, I'll be on Nothing But Knicks doing a crossover with Tony Crowe. Then next week Monday I'll be back on the Queen's Court, and then next week Tuesday I'm back. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers right now. Picked up 9 more tonight. I appreciate you.
That's what's up. That's
Way
what's
to go,
up.
chat.
Yeah.
Word up. Salute to the chat.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you. And we're gonna do some other things. I'll definitely be doing the post game. I used to do the post game on Nothing But Knicks. It's really late, hard for me to stay up.
Right.
3-4 games a night. This is just once a week. I can kind of recover, but I'm getting up there. 3-4 nights staying up late throws me off. So I'll be doing the post games in the mornings after the Knicks games, probably from like 7:30. Either I'm trying to decide whether I'm gonna drop a video or I'm gonna go live the morning after the Knicks game. Me and the bowling chick, we're gonna be doing quarterly reviews of the Knicks. Every 20 games, we'll do a show to break them down. We're gonna do a preseason show as well. We'll do a stat show and then we'll do a discussion show, and that's we'll work it out. If Jarrell and them want to be part of the stat show, they can. If not, me and the bowling chick will do the stat show, and then we'll flow right into the panel show. Depends on who wants to be a part of what. And then we'll definitely continue to do this during the season because there'll be a lot of storylines to just kick it,
especially with training camp start. I can't wait for that.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Queen, listening to your travels, going to Alaska, doing that journey, your unbelievable game. And I think people love hearing more and more about your travel. You know what?
What happened to the pictures? I just thought about that.
Yeah. I gotta, you know what it is? I got the best pictures were portrait because, I took a lot with the phone. I took a lot with my camera as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to figure it out in, what is that? Publisher, right? Is it Publisher? Is that PowerPoint? Sorry. Yeah, in PowerPoint, you can only do, maybe I'll load them in 2 separate ones because you can't have some landscape and some portrait. If you start with portrait, they all have to be portrait. If you start with landscape, they all have to be landscape. So maybe I'll just put them on 2 separate ones and just put both of them in and definitely show the pictures. And I got to figure it out. I'm going to be in Ghana, Africa for 2 weeks, starting the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I'm going to bring my video equipment with me because I still want to do the post game while I'm there. I think it's a difference of like 6 hours. I want to say 5 or 6 hours. So I will see. But after this, I'll be doing my traveling in the off season because,
can't do it while the Knicks playing.
Yeah. Exactly. It's too much. And trying to stay connected and trying to do shows while you overseas, and is the internet strong enough and all of that other stuff.
Right.
You don't want your audio sounding like mine.
Right.
Somebody said the bowling chick was doing an exorcism earlier.
You saw that? I was like, oh my God.
Jarrell, what's your Twitter handle? Eddie C wants to know.
Oh, I put it in there.
Oh, you did?
Put it in there? Probably just been popped up. I just put I am Jarrell, same as you saw on the screen earlier on Twitter and IG. I put it in there.
All right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I definitely do that. Shout out to you, Sean. It's just that they want to allow me to have portrait and landscape in the same PowerPoint presentation. You got it. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just do 2 and put my landscape pictures in one PowerPoint presentation, put my the other portrait in another PowerPoint presentation, and I think I can load both of them up. I'm not gonna have a lot of pictures. Y'all ain't trying to see all of that. If I was really creative, when I come back from my travels, I would do like an intro video with the pictures in the intro video. But that way it's not taking up a lot of time, and then we could just get right into
right. That'd
what
be dope though.
Yeah. Because I'm gonna be traveling a lot. Anyway, any last words before we get out of here, Jarrell?
Nah, it's late. Salute to everybody. Go Knicks. Salute to the chat. The chat makes the show. We all know that.
Yeah, the chat makes the show.
A lot of people say that we do a pretty good job up here, but it's the chat that we feed off of. At least I do every show.
Yeah.
And without y'all, the show isn't the same.
No doubt about it. It's just
I agree. That's where the Mitch Robinson takes came from, right?
Exactly. We got like a whole hour of content just by somebody mentioning that. Because I don't think I brought Mitch up. I don't think.
Well, you were talking about your closers, and
Hartenstein,
right. Your closer, and Stafford had a seizure. He had a small fit.
Not a seizure.
He had a small fit over here,
right.
And so I just kind of saved it to the end.
Right.
Actually. But yep, we will see you guys next Tuesday. Appreciate you.